do 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 do.
Uh-oh. We have an issue here. Says where our tier the title is invalid on Twitch.
What?
Yeah, we need to change the title for
Oh,
Twitch.
how the heck do I do that? Can I do that from here?
Can you edit the title?
Possibly. Wait, how is it an invalid title on Twitch? It's showing that it's working.
Just that's I got a notification upper right corner. If you go click the little Lorebeards emblem, it's got a little red dot on it. Hey everybody, we're having some technical difficulties here. Please bear with us. This is Lorebeards 40,000. I'm Ross Watson. I'm a game designer and author. I've written a whole bunch of stuff for Warhammer 40K roleplay, and I was part of the White Dwarf team for a couple of years, and I worked on several 40K video games. So you could say I know a thing or two about the grim darkness of the far future. Today,
hang on. I think I found it.
Okay. Today, our topic is going to be all about who is the most orkiest, the strongest, the orkiest of our different orc clans.
Okay. What if I save this? Okay, is it there now?
We are now live on Twitch. Hey, everybody.
Hey, we did it.
Yay.
Okay. I think it was catching the clan spelled with K.
Oh, probably. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, so we should probably change that to a C as well on this as well.
For
just
sure.
So it doesn't, doesn't freak out algorithm junk.
So why don't you introduce yourself, Alexis?
Oh, okay. Well, I am Norn Queen Alexis. I am a Viking reenactor. I am a game designer, and I am a all-around Warhammer enthusiast who has a lot of time to commission paint entire armies.
Woo.
Look at that. It's all silver.
Wow.
It smells like spray paint in my house right now.
Oh, I get to say that I'm an internet thing doer now because I had a Twitch stream last night. I started my my Twitch channel, and it went really well. Thank you for everybody who stopped by from the Lorebeards community. It was very nice.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, let's talk about. I should bring up the tier list so we can start talking about it. Look at all these wogs in chat. Wog.
I love the orcs. The orcs are just so much fun. I love that they make it so that you can't take this setting seriously. Like there is a good chance that if you ever did a verse match with the orcs, like say you brought in like what is the that crazy disease monster from the Halo universe, the Flood. If you brought the Flood into 40K, there is a good chance the orcs would just be like, he ain't too orky. Punch, kill, rip out the thing and be like, I don't understand this. I don't want it to be here, and just kill it.
They are...
the funniest part is they do that with gene stealers.
They do. There is something inherent about them that helps them detect gene stealers and things like that. I believe it was said, maybe this is old lore, and I don't hold me to this, guys, because this is definitely something I read a long time ago. But I remember reading that like Calidus assassins with the polymorphine injections find it more difficult to infiltrate orcs, just because what's on the surface is not enough typically to fool them. But it depends.
Love that. I love that so much. Like orcs just being this they're not mindless, but they are idiot savants. They are the greatest dumbasses in the galaxy. Like you could be a tech priest of Mars who has studied a weapon for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, trying to figure out its inner workings and everything. And an orc could pick it up and in 2 seconds realize it's a weapon and start firing it. And when the orc turns around to explain it to you, just be like, shoot it. And it's like, cool. What energy is it shooting? Oh.
Yeah, orcs, for a long time, actually since the very beginning, orcs have been sort of a banner bearer for humor in 40K. They have almost always had elements of tongue in cheek, um, goofiness, for lack of a better
Mhm.
word. I also love the fact that they're in the setting, and I love that they are somewhat more lighthearted. Obviously, there are interpretations of them that go darker and more serious, but in general, like I like the fact that orcs are among the more jovial species. Even though they want to fight and they will love to kill you, they enjoy it. You know.
So I always read it like this. Orcs from their point of view are having the time of their lives. Orcs from anyone else's point of view are having the hardest time of their lives.
Got a super chat from Biofoot. The fish boys is the greenest and the meanest. This joke will never die, I swear. It's gonna follow us around for years.
I You know what I want them to do just to make Biofoot like super happy is put a Fishman team into Blood Bowl
Ooh.
because Blood Bowl can have that kind of stuff.
It absolutely can. That's true. And we get a super chat from Scar, Prince of the Parade. My fan-made orc Skarsnaga Tough Teeth. That's a good name.
That is a great orc name.
Actually uses the orc language because I wanted to make it more accurate. Do you gits know what his name means?
Oh my god, it has been a while since I looked at the 5th edition Orc Codex that has the language in it. Or 4th, 5th edition, because that codex was used for both.
I mean, I know that Scar is
Veteran.
veteran. Yeah, pretty sure. No, well, no, it's also a wound. So like and snag is like a slave or something like that, isn't it? Or a grunt, battle damaged foot slogger, something like that for Skarsnaga, and then
Tough is just
tough
tough, and
tooth. Yeah,
then
I
teeth
think
is like money. Wait, did we get it?
I don't know.
Uh, they posted a follow-up. Cutting weapon.
Uh, tough, yeah, strong teeth. I think is the other is the
So cutting weapon, wild beast, ancient old wealth and money.
hmm.
Yeah, because I remember the old Scar boys were the veteran boys, but they weren't
Hmm.
knobs yet.
Okay.
Does Face Fillet have a clan?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he does. He's a freebooter, remember?
Yeah, he is a freebooter.
He is a freebooter.
This is the one
So,
time my New York accent actually comes in handy.
well, because you are who you are, and I know you love orcs. I was wondering if you'd like to start us off by talking about the bad moons.
So I okay, I'm gonna complain real quick just to start this off. I know everyone loves starting off with complaints, but it gets better. I wish the bad moons had grots like the bad moons in AOS and Old World.
Hmm.
Uh because I feel like they should have the shamanistic grots and everything and the giant arachnids of like AOS into 40K, but just squigify them, make it like the squigoth and things like that, so it fits more of the 40K vibe. Make them more technological instead of like magic and everything for the grots, and just have the orcs be like more shamanistic. Uh, but the bad moons are like they're not the lucky boys.
No, they're the
They're
wealthiest.
yeah, they're the wealthiest because I know there's one that explodes the biggest, one that is the richest, one that is the luckiest, one that is the most cunning, one that is the most brutal, and one that is, well, this snake bites.
We got a super chat from Ricky Chapman. Thank you so much, Ricky Chapman. Orcs can smell gene stealer infections. To be fair, I think this is probably more our interpretations. I'm not sure like it's ever said in a codex or rule book. Um, but Ricky Chapman says,
I
go ahead.
well, continue reading it because what I have to say is about this.
Ricky Chapman says, I wonder if that was programmed on purpose by the old ones to detect mind shackle scarabs, which is a Necron device.
I love this because the orcs don't, as far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, I don't believe the orcs smell it out. They innately detect unorky behavior. Like, they can spot a gene stealer orc really, really quickly. And they typically, gene stealers typically only get 3-4 orc infected guys into the orc clan to try to spread it before they're discovered and destroyed. The source on this is the 7th edition Gene Stealer Codex. The 8th edition kind of references this, but not really. No, 8th into 9th. Sorry, 8, 9. And the 10th edition one, well, there's not really much lore in the 10th edition codexes, unfortunately.
Yeah, the interpretation is that they can sort of tell when they can instinctively feel if something is unorky. And they just kind of bash whoever that unorky get is until it stops being weird, which usually kills or contains gene stealer infections. It's not like a scanner or anything. It's just a psychic and cultural understanding of what it means to be an orc, I guess. But again, I mean, I feel like this is it's 7th edition Gene Stealer Codex has it in there, so that's where I would point you guys to look at it. But okay, so Ricky Chapman's idea, though,
I really like this idea. I love this idea that they could detect mind shackle scarabs, because that's exactly what this adaptation would be for. Like, that is so crazy smart. I love that.
Your face just lit up. I love that. Yeah. And Ricky's right. It's a great idea. Alexis is right. It's a fantastic interpretation of that ability, because it would make sense that the orcs being built by the old ones, back then they were called the Krorks, to fight the Necron tier, and the Necrons use mind shackle scarabs. That is a very very apt and interesting interpretation, Ricky Chapman. I like it a lot. I think I would agree.
Before we get on to the second super chat, I got to tell you something, Ross. I had a dream that you were in it. Okay. All right. So it was me and you staring at a pic feed while sitting on the bridge of an Imperial vessel, and we were debating whether or not that was a Quark or the Beast.
Oh, that's funny.
That was the entire dream, mind you. It was like killing Marines left and right, and we're just like, no, that's beast-like behavior. And you're just like, no, look at its hand. It's carrying a really advanced weapon. That's a Krork. And I'm just sitting there like, the Krork would have like armor on. And you're just like, well, this one got bigger.
Yeah, grew it. Yeah, maybe. That's interesting.
And that was the whole dream. Just me and you debating this.
Scar, Prince of the Parade, thank you again for the super chats. Super chats are the absolute best way to support the channel, support us, and help us create more content for you guys. So we are very grateful for all of them.
Speaking of, if you guys want to move anything up and down this tier list and be like, no, snake bites are the best because Skarsnik is really cool, or actually, no, that Snickrot is really cool. And I love that character. And Gosgul, big dumb, goes in D tier for dumb. You could do that by just donating $10. You can move one of anything to any spot on the map, but you can only move it. You can only move something once. There are shields and things like that. So if you donate a bit more, you can protect your guy and protect where you want them. And we got some fun stuff on. We got one fun thing on this list that I'm happy to talk about.
So I want to just quickly check in, because all the comments I'm seeing so far from YouTube, it's possible that our issue with Twitch has knocked us off the chat for YouTube or for Twitch. So if you're commenting on Twitch and it's not showing up here, yeah, go onto the Discord. Thank you. Lord Voren is helping us out here. Lord Voren, if you keep an eye out on Twitch and see if anybody's commenting there that's just not showing up, that'd be really great.
Oh, we didn't read that comment.
Scar, Princess Parade says, thank Gimgam Glitzdaka for his amazing vids for my orc knowledge. Also, question, what's your thoughts on the Tiamat beacon thing from the Tyranids? Tyranid beacon. What do you think of, or a Tiamat beacon? What do you think of that?
Isn't that the beacon that summoned the Tyranids to the galaxy?
That was the Pharaoh's device.
Oh, okay. What's the Tiamat beacon? Because all I'm thinking about is Tiamat bacon, and now all I have is five-headed dragon in my head, and just a bunch of orcs. Like, we could take it, and Tiamat's like, no, you can't.
So, High Fleet Tiamat built a continent-spanning psychic edifice on a jungle world in the Eastern Fringe, which is called Zoria, I believe. And the structure emits a powerful galaxy-visible psychic signal that drives nearby psychers into fits of death and causes widespread alarm in the Imperium and other Xenos races. People don't know what it is. It might be very similar to the Pharos beacon or the Astronomicon. It might be some sort of amplifier or relay. It might be some sort of anchor point construct.
All right, I have a funny theory that I want to run by you first about it then. What if it's a throne for the Norn Queen?
Oh, there we go.
Like, it is a rival to the Golden Throne.
Nice. The hive mind was like, I want one.
Well, I mean, they have to eventually set up an actual staging ground.
Do they though? I'm not sure that they do, but it's cool that they've chosen to do this anyway, because the Tiamat beacon is really interesting.
Oh, also, thank you, Lord Vorn. We can see the Twitch chat.
Oh, good. We can. Yep, there it is. I see it. All right, we got even more super chats. Necro player.
So, important note: if you can make the S green, I think you have to.
I might be able to do that. Let me see if I can. See if I can do that. There we go.
Yeah, S is now the green.
It's the greenest.
Okay, so bad moons are all about money, wealth, power, and trading with others. They're a little bit. They're not quite free. Well, freebooters are mostly bad moons, but bad moons are one of the most unorky of orcs, where they will willingly do trades with the Imperium. They'll trade with other Xeno species. They will eventually betray them because they're orcs inherently, and they carry immense amounts of wealth throughout their fleets. Their fleets have cargo ships filled with teeth. And for those of you that don't know, the orc currency is teeth or teeth. But they don't use human teeth because human teeth would be less than a penny to them. They use tusks and teeth that the orcs themselves actually grow. One tooth is, you could think of it as the equivalent of $1. Where a tusk off of like a gargant, not a gargant, a gargantuan squigoth would be like having $1,000, or a tyrannid huge tusk off of a carnifex, that would be a lot of money. The bigger the tooth, the more money it is. Also, orcs don't distinguish between teeth and tusks. To them, that's all teeth, which I always thought was funny. So the bad moons are known to have the most, but what makes the orc currency actually work, because orcs are inherently capitalist, which is hilarious. I love this of them.
With one exception.
The exception is that their teeth actually rot.
No, that's not the exception. They're not. Well, they're capitalist with one prominent exception. We will be talking about it in this episode.
Yes, but their teeth actually rot, and over time they actually have times of deflation because all their teeth rotted while they were space traveling, so they have to go and collect more. Could you imagine, Ross, if we had deflation in our economy? That'd be great if we could afford a house, right?
If only.
No, but our tax dollars are fighting our tax dollars over in the Middle East.
So we have Scar Prince of the Parade coming in with a steel chair. Bam, $10. He says, move the bad moons to S tier. Let us wog all the way, boys. Screw to Goths, screw to rebels, and screw to Death Skulls. We bad moons rule the worlds. Wow. Please don't make me do that more often.
You're going to be doing that a lot.
I hope not. It'd be like a games day in here.
Where would you actually put the bad moons on this list?
Well, I have a lot to say about the bad moons. They are essentially, they have kind of a merchant role in orc society because they like to hoard and trade teeth and gear and weapons. And Obviously, yellow and gold are their colors. Flashy accessories make them visually distinct.
They
They
walk
like
around with strobe lights.
they are a parody of a particular subculture in, I think, British in the UK, which I don't want to try and guess which one that is because I'm not a UK citizen. I probably would get it wrong, but they do. They tend to field groups with the biggest and flashiest guns. The Flash Gits are a very common unit in Bad Moon's armies. They typically are associated with long range DACA. DACA being an orc word for firepower, and they tend to field the heaviest weapons and the flashiest gear and the biggest vehicles than all the other clans because of their wealth. The character that's most well associated with them is Nazdrag Ugg Erdgrub. You know Nazdrag, don't you?
Yes. I was actually thinking, yeah. I was thinking the pirate for a second.
No, you're thinking, yeah, Captain Badrock is a freebooter.
Yeah.
But Nazdrag is a he's a warlord. He led the invasion of Medusa 5, which was a major Orc Imperial campaign.
He's a character that I really want to get a miniature for.
A lot of fans tend to look, I mean, this is not official, but a lot of fans tend to look at the Bad Moons like they are merchant princes or royal snobs. And they tend the perception of them in the community tends to be more like they are lazy and snobby.
Inherently unorky.
Well,
how dare you shoot from a long range when you can run up and punch them in the face?
They have the most DACA, I think, is probably the best way to talk about them. So with all that in mind, the most teeth, the most DACA, the most gear, the most stuff, probably for me, I would have put them in A tier.
Okay. All right. That is I have a solid counter argument against that.
Okay.
They belong in B tier because they're Bad Moons, and Bad Moon starts with a B.
That's very orky. I dig that a lot. Don't forget about Ozdaka, the boss of bosses of the Bad Moons.
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't Orchimedes also a Bad Moon, or is he a Death Skull?
That's a good question. I'm not sure we know.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever stated what clan he's from. I always just assumed it was the... Yeah. Anyway.
Super Orlock gives us a smiley face. Thank you so much, Super Orlock. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, you're the best.
Lord Vorn says, I enjoyed the Dimmed Suns NPC orc faction in Cathay on Total War Warhammer 3 with their banner being a steamed dumpling. Oh, that's amazing. The dim sun. Oh, I get it. That is a really good pun, and I appreciate it. Thank you for pointing that out, Lord Vorn. I haven't played Cathay yet, so I haven't seen them, but that's really cool.
I still got to build our Cathay army. It's downstairs. I've just kept looking at it. But I finally finished my Death Riders, and I'm really happy with these guys. I only need to paint 20 more.
Alexis, you need to channel your inner dragon, find your harmony, and go paint those Cathay.
You know, last time I found an inner dragon, I got kicked off of a certain website.
Oh, we got another one for Ricky Chapman. The Mech Lord and Ufthak Blackhawk are Bad Moons. Ah, okay. Very cool. I'm not familiar. I'd have to go look those guys up to know who they are, but yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate you pointing those out. And then we've got a couple of steel chairs. Incoming steel chairs. Friender trainer, boom, seize the means of Wog. Without the Grots, who would build all the gubbins? Who would hold the banners? Rebel Grots to the top. S tier for my favorite Rebel Uprising.
You know what? All right. Well, now we have to talk about them. So, Ross, who are who is the Red Gobbo and who are the Rebel Grots?
Okay, so that's kind of a big thing. So the Red Gobbo is the head of the Gretchen Revolutionary Committee, or GRC. he is essentially the figurehead or leader of what is called the Grot Revolution or the Grot Rebels or the Rebel Grots, which is how we've got them listed here. And he wears a red coat. He has a lot of red imagery. His name is the Red Gobbo. And this led to a joke on Warhammer Community about Grotmas and him being like a form of Santa, which I thought was funny. But in actuality, he is he's the leader of this movement that has essentially aims to emancipate the Grots from the orcs bullying, if you will. And go ahead.
Some of the crazier things that the Red Gobbo has at his disposal and the Grot Revolutionary Army has is old Tin Boy robots. They're still canon because of him. But the Rebel Grots are an actual thing in the lore. They pop up time to time. So does the Red Gobbo. It is not just one Grot, or it is one Grot, but this Grot tends to pop up all over the place, always having his red coat and his hat, and always trying to lead a revolution, sometimes successfully.
I think it's his pistol. It's a slugger. That's the coat in the slugger. And a lot of sources say that the Red Gobbo is more of a title than an individual. Like if you kill the Red Gobbo, just another one will pick up the coat and the gun and become the new Red Gobbo.
In a way, he's kind of a perpetual. If you guys don't know, he is a joke on Karl Marx.
He is absolutely that. But there is a background story called the Red Gobbo that frames him as a Gretchen from a boarding crew who steps up when a mech boy is killed, rewrites an onboard orc plan, leads a successful revolt, and becomes the first recognized Red Gobbo. And the idea of the Red Gobbo spread throughout orc culture. It inspired Grot mutinies and flash uprisings on orc hulks, isolated planets, and basically anywhere orcs were. Even though the orcs, the actual orcs, tend to treat the idea of a Grot revolution as dark. It's like a dark comedy humor. They just kind of like, whatever, this is a joke. But it turns out it's naturally not a joke because Grots are kind of everywhere and they are relied upon to do an awful lot of things that orcs don't do or don't want to do, which was pointed out in the super chat. I should add.
Speaking of super chats,
oh, we got a big old steel chair from Necroplayer. Add Commissar Sebastian Yarrick and add him to whatever tier you eventually put the Goths, for he is as great an orc as the great and mighty prophet of the Wog on order of Gaskell Magrick Thraka.
You know what? Also, if you guys donate more than the $10, you get a shield. So if somebody tries to move you, it prevents it for one action. I think that has to put the Goths at S tier.
I don't know how. Can I add a? Let's see. I can. Maybe Lord Vorn can help me out and make a quick little sketchy, scuffed Commissar Yarrick. For now, we will use the Goths for that. But I would like to. $20 is pretty great, and actually, Goths. Let's put them at the very front, because that gives them a shield.
Yeah,
I think Yarrick is very worthy as an orc. I don't know if he's worthy as a clan, but if he was gonna belong to a clan, he'd belong to the Goths.
He 100% would. He's got his own orky name. Like the orcs actually know Commissar Yarrick, Old Balai. Like they have a glyph of him because he's the greatest enemy.
With the steel chairs keep coming. Scar, Prince of the Parade. Screw you, Grots. Put him in D tier. Wog all the way. What's you guys thought on the Beast being so unorc and the big moon bases being dumb because they don't let the boys fight? So Scar is saying the Grots, the Rebel Grots, are they going to D tier? Is that what he's saying?
Yep.
Oh, bummer. So Alexis, you have many thoughts on the attack moons and the Beast.
Okay, so if you were to teleport a moon into orbit of another planet, it would cause catastrophic damage to that planet. So that's really dumb. I don't like the Attack Moon, but I love the orcs. I wish the Beast Arises series was. I wish the way Games Workshop writes now, I wish they would redo the Beast Arises series. Make it a 4-book series, redo it, and get rid of all of the stupid shit in it. Because there is a lot of stupid shit in it. I'm not a big fan of the. I'm definitely not a big fan of the Beast Arises series, the Bad Moon, or the Beast. I think the Beast could be a very, very well written villain, and I honestly think them dying at the end is kind of a meh because it kills Vulcan. Spoilers for a 20-year-old book.
Yeah, but he's a perpetual, so it's fine.
Well, apparently he sacrificed his perpetuality, like apparently all perpetuals eventually do in the lore. But then he came back anyway because now he's in Trazine's collection, and his stasis is preventing him from reforming or blah. It's all big dumb, just like the orcs.
So go ahead.
I think if it's rewritten, they could make this series way better.
So the Beast is a prime orc that is kind of above the clan system. He doesn't have a clan, but if he did, if he and his Attack Moons were all part of a clan, which clan would you put the Beast in?
He is the most technologically advanced orc that we know of. So as much as I hate to say it, he would be a Bad Moon. Which makes total sense considering he has a bad Attack Moon.
The Attack Moons do lend a lot of strength to that argument.
Yep, and I hate it.
I also think the Beast would be, if you had to pick something, I'd say he'd be a Bad Moon. That's probably right.
Yeah.
Lord Vorn, are you able to make a little thing for Garrick or not? Let me know. Let's see here. Lorebeards. I'm afraid that's Hawk's wheelhouse. He doesn't have access. Okay. Well, we'll just assume that, unfortunately, we're going to have to assume that Garrick on that super chat is part of the Goffs clan. Yeah. Because that's what we have.
Can you just add a new image at the bottom?
Let's see. I mean,
add an additional image, choose file.
Right. That's the part.
Yeah, just go and download a picture of Commissar Yarrick real quick while I talk about random stuff and fill time because I'm really good at that.
Why don't you talk about Goffs? Because that's one of the ones that's on the top.
Goths are much like me, but I spell it correctly as goth. I like to consider myself a comfort goth. Most of the time I'm just in comfy clothing. But goths are never in comfy clothing except for their like I do love the idea that there is somewhere an orc that has to stitch together all the orc's pants. Like, he probably uses a whole bunch of grot slaves to do it, but you know that he has to, like, tailor make each pant because they're not going to fit everyone. Okay, I should be talking about Goths. So, if you guys don't know what the Goths are the typically black armored orcs with checker patterns on them. Most famous of them all is Gazgul Meg Uruk Thraka, their warlord, who is definitely not named after Margaret Thatcher. That is a rumor, apparently. Heck yeah, it's just him. So we could take Goths off of there for now, because they haven't been added yet. But the Goths are probably the largest of the orc clans. They have billions upon billions of troops. Hundreds of, probably close to like 1 billion starships or ships that can fly through space. Sometimes they're asteroids with Guller fields that they just teleport. Calling the orcs saying they have a fleet is very weird because it's a bunch of ramshackled vehicles that they kind of just throw together and hope that they go in one direction. They typically don't have anything to steer their ships away from certain targets, and they only have one button that makes their ships go faster.
Typically, yeah. Sometimes they get their hands on something a little more advanced, or a mech boy will build something a little more advanced, but that's generally how it goes with the orcs. The Goths are the largest clan by far, which is what Alexis is pointing out. They are also the most aggressive and melee oriented of the clans. Their combat style is built entirely around full frontal assaults and brute force mobs.
They are the clan that the Imperium is most familiar with. And in the first couple of engagements in Armageddon, it was assumed that orcs were too stupid for strategy because they would just keep running directly at you across no man's land and they would just gun them down. And yeah, Gosgul isn't that dumb, but he kept using those strategies to keep the Imperials thinking that he's that dumb while using the snake bites for stealth and espionage.
The Goths, they're characterized as preferring to brawl, to charge, to get into up close violence as much as possible. And also that they inherently distrust and mock more specialized styles like being sneaky, such as the Blood Axes, or using big glam guns like the Bad Moons, or even having a strange obsession with speed like the Evil Sons. So they're also very snobby, like the Bad Moons, but they are snobby in that they kind of they're kind of the gatekeepers of orky culture in a way,
Mm-hmm.
a little
They're
bit.
the ones that inherently tell people like they are unorky. Like they've told the Bad Moons they're unorky.
Well,
They've
yeah,
told Snake Bites they're unorky.
I mean, both of those clans have probably said the same thing. Pack. So
Yes, but Gospel's bigger, so he's correct.
Goths typically they have a lot of inter-orc fighting at the top because they like there's a lot of ambitious Goths. There's a lot of they like to sort the strong from the weak, if you will. In any big campaign like the ones on Armageddon, the Goths are your shock troops, your biggest, most aggressive, most in your face mobs that you can find. They're the sledgehammer. They are not subtle infiltrators. They are not ranged attackers. Their colors are dull green and black. They have a simple their style is generally pretty simple without a lot of flashy ornamentation. And they have the black and white checkerboard pattern, I believe, is one of their
which
core
signifies death or death. One thing that I do want to point out about Goths, this isn't stated anywhere, but in the artwork, it shows this a lot. Goths are typically depicted as a darker green orc versus more of the brighter orcs of the other clans. And it's always been interesting, but I think that's more of how the Imperium sees them versus how the orcs see them. And the older an orc gets, the darker their skin tone becomes until it becomes like a leathery brownish green, which is what Gosgul has, where that's as big and as mean as you can be.
The Goths are led by Gazgul Maguruk Thraka, who is the strongest warlord in the 40k setting and also anointed prophet of Gork and Mork. He's a really big deal, and you could look at Gazgul almost like a faction leader. He's essentially the head orc of all orcs, but I mean, their culture doesn't really work like that so much.
In terms of tabletop, he has what's honorarily called he's the Primarch character of the orcs, where he is the biggest character they have. It doesn't mean he's a Primarch or Primorc in this case. It just means that he is referred to as the Primarch of their army, like how Belisarius Cawl is the Primarch of the Mechanicum. It's just a title that tabletop gamers give to certain characters because they're big and they usually are super important to the army.
Importance is a major aspect of that, yeah. And Gazgul is incredibly important for the orcs. Hey, we've Ricky Chapman, $10 for the glorious revolution. Red Gabo leads the Grots to S.
Back to S.
Yarrick still has a shield. So there's that. And then we got Sebastian Muller. The best orc is hands down Yarrick. Whoa, well, he's got lots of shields now.
Yes, and I do want to point out that this is I believe this is 30. So now he has 4 shields on him.
No, way to go, Sebastian Muller. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Necroplayer says we need more grots like the Grom, the Paunch, or Skarsnik from fantasy. Yes.
I fully agree with this. We do have Makari now, and Makari's kind of a huge deal, especially when an Inquisitor interrogated him, which is a really, really good book. The Makari book is actually incredibly good, and I highly recommend it because Makari is also fluent in Gothic, and it actually like freaks out the Inquisitor because the Inquisitor was going to bring in a specialist, and he's just sitting there speaking.
Necroplayer makes a really excellent point here. 40K has a ton of orc characters. We've got Skarsnik, we've got Grotsnik, we've got Snickrot, we've got Gazgul, we've got Wazdaka, we've got Captain Badrock, and we've got even more from the video games and things like that too. Gutsmech and there's another one.
Grimskull.
Grimskull, and what's the one from Dawn of War?
Gorguts.
Gorguts, yeah. But we have 0 named Grot characters outside of the Red Gobbo and Makari, and those 2 characters are at best sidelined.
Yes.
In the lore.
Here's how I would add a few new characters for Grots really quickly, and I think this is a perfect jumping in point for this. I would add a hands down Kill-a-Can leader Grot. This would be a Grot that is piloting a mega Kill-a-Can, not a mega dread, because those exist for the orcs, and not a Death Dread, because that has an orc in it. This would be a mega Kill-a-Can. It would be slightly bigger than other Kill-a-Cans, and it would have the ability to join them as a squad, similar to how Morvenwald joins the Paragon Warsuits. It would just give them something to benefit them, but it would be a Grot character, and I would have a specialized Grot detachment that helps out all of these characters and gives them something cool. The next character, because I think that's a good melee character for them, the next character I would do is a Bad Moon's Shaman for Grots, a wizard for them, or in this case, a psyker for them. Because we don't have psychic Grots in 40K at all. This would be a first.
Agreed.
And it's not out of the ordinary. It would just be like something that doesn't happen very often. Like the orcs know about it, but no one else does because the Grots don't live long enough to use them. This would just be a very powerful Grot wizard, psyker, and it would play very similarly to how the Bad Moons in AOS play.
I think I would like to do a Grot in a Grot tank that is like he's like a little Knight Commander Pask from the Cadians, if you can remember that guy. You know, he's got like a maybe he's got like a one of those. Oh, you know, I would base him on Oddball from the what's that movie? The Dirty Dozen?
Yeah, yes.
It's a World War II movie, and it's a character called Oddball. He's a tank commander. And he's got like a weird little leather flight helmet with goggles, and that would be what I would put on this little Grot. And this would be a great Grot ranged, but not psychic character, because he would have a gun on his tank, and he could drive around little. Maybe have more vehicle rules.
I would put him in a Grot mega tank.
Okay.
It's the Forge World unit is a slightly bigger tank, and Games Workshop's pictures makes it look like it's actually huge, and it's really small. It was only the size of a rhino, but they made it look like it was the size of a Baneblade, which I thought was hilarious. I would name that Grot. I would name him Task.
That would be a way to do it, yeah.
Because it would be a joke on Commander Pask.
Yeah, God. Now I want to put down a let's build a Grot character for one of our.
I just don't think there's enough yet.
It would. I don't know. We might be able to make it work. But Necroplayer, great idea, and thanks for bringing that up because that's an excellent point. One more steel chair. Scar, Prince of the Parade. Put Grimgor, Ironhide, and Skarsnik to the tier list and put them in a tier above S called the Prophets of Cork and Mort because they are the avatars in all worlds.
Hang on, we said 1.
Yeah,
That's 2, which is more than 1.
I'll tell you what. I will make one for Grimgor, and I will put him in S tier. I will not give him an S. I will. It's too much work to make a whole separate rank. But I will move him right below. It wouldn't be fair to bump Yerrick, for example, because that Yerrick has so many shields on him right now. It just wouldn't be fair.
He's sitting
But
there at 4
but
shields.
I will put Grimgore and Scarstick. I'll put the Prophet right next to Yerrick. So give me a minute while I fix that. But in the meantime,
love that.
could you talk more about the blood axes?
Okay, so blood axes. So I always thought these were the melee dudes. Like for some reason, but
They're not. They're the commandos. They're the sneaky boys.
Yeah, which is weird because they were originally like a branch off of the snake bites, but then the snake bites and the bad moons, to separate them, they made the beast snaggers, which are now the snake bites, which is cool, and I like that. So they made the blood axes different, and I'm okay with that. So the blood axes, what makes them really cool is they were the first ever encounter by the Imperium, was the blood axes. And they were subsequently so strong they choked out the Emperor. Yeah, that counts as a tactical oopsie daisy on the Imperium's point. So let's see. The blood axes are also incredibly stealthy, and there's actually a very, very funny story about them, and I want to tell this funny story first. So the blood axes once snuck a rhino into a depot of I think it was the Imperial Fists, or I think it was the Imperial Fists. And the only reason that this rhino got caught, because it was doing the right calls and everything to get to sneak in, and it was a bunch of orcs inside it. The only reason that this thing got caught was because its engine started revving and smoke and fire shot out of the exhaust. And the Imperials were like, hey, wait a second. That's not supposed to do that. And shot and destroyed it. Oh no, blood axes are the beast snaggers. I got that mixed up. I am so sorry. Beast snaggers always throw me off. But the blood axes are also the ones that are the sneakiest. They are the commandos. They have Snekrot. And these guys are actually very intelligent. They know how to sneak up to Imperials and kill them. They're also smart enough to use psychological warfare, which is not something that orcs typically do. In fact, it's why they're seen as inherently unorky. Go figure. And it's this act of going into commanders' barracks and killing them, but not killing anybody else and leaving, that is so bizarre to the Imperium that they didn't know how to counter it at first. And they had to actually incorporate counter assassins to deal with the blood axes, because they were getting that bad. They were just killing commanders in their sleep, or killing them when they had to use the latrine, or whatever they had to do. If they were unescorted for a second, they'd be dead.
I know I've read somewhere that there's a lot of Imperial commanders in the Astra Militarum that are absolutely flummoxed. They have no idea how commandos are able to be sneaky at all, and yet they are. They just are sneaky as hell, and they get in and out of places. Also, some really old lore said that the blood axes were mercenaries that certain Imperial worlds could hire to do things, to fight, as or be bodyguards or things like that. Blood axes are also the ones that tend to imitate the Imperium as much as they can.
Yeah, they're the ones that discovered the Titans.
So there's a lot of I will talk more about them in a minute, but the super chats are flying thick and fast, so I want to make sure we get all of those. So we did get the one about Grimgor and Skarsnik. And we have one here from Friend or Trader. Let the boys tremble at the revolution. The Grots have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a universe to win. Grots unite, a shield for the cause. All right. Woo, Red Gobbo, man. He's getting a lot of love today.
See, I told you. And you were like, no one's going to know what the Red Gobbo is. That's not exactly what he said, but that's how I'm interpreting it.
Red Gobbo, I think, was originally from Necromunda. Is that right?
I believe so. I know he was introduced around that time.
Oh, no. Gorka Morka.
Yeah, Gorka Morka is where he was introduced. I know he was introduced around that time span where they were doing all the crazy, cool games that I wish they would bring back. Battlefield Gothic, um, which me and Ross would go homeless trying to buy everything.
Sarmelian Bloodweaver says, fantasy Age of Sigmar greens have giants and spiders, even ogre mercs sometimes. Do 40k orcs need something to fill that niche? And if so, what would you add?
Ooh, so for Warhammer 40k, the orcs typically use giant machinery like the Gork and Morkanot to represent their giants or their knight equivalent. Because the giant in AOS and in Old World, the equivalent in 40k would be a knight, which is a big robot, but it's not the biggest robot. Um, a Gargant giant from Old World AOS would be the equivalent of a Titan in 40k. Excuse me. But the orcs actually have a pretty well-rounded roster for like a massive spider, like the Ragnarok spider. They have something called a Gargantuan Squigoth, which is a gigantic four-limbed squig that has a big giant mouth, and orcs hang on to the back of it in a, in a saddle with a bunch of guns on it that sometimes hit things. Most of the time, the orcs just kind of jump out when they're near their target and just let the thing rampage around because they can't really control it. So they do have an equivalent, but I'm always here for adding more stuff to the orcs because more stuff is better. And I don't care if it's redundant. We have the Space Marines. They have 40 units that do the same thing. Like orcs can have that.
So in fantasy greenskins, they ride spiders as well for the forest goblins, I believe.
Oh, can we get goblins on motorcycles in 40k? Or goblins on squigs?
Excuse me. I would say the cyber boars are probably the closest equivalent to the riding spiders. That's things.
Yeah.
The what do they call them now? There's a term for the boars. I forget what it's called. They're
the cyborgs.
Cyborgs, yes. And I think isn't there yet another term like what do they call that unit now that rides the boars?
They haven't been in 40k in a very long time.
Oh, okay. I thought
but they do have the Beast Naga things.
The Beast Nagas, I think that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the my brain just went completely blank. I have the image and the word is above it, but I can't read it.
If I was going to add something that wasn't
Squig hogs.
There you go.
Thank you, friend or trader.
Squig hogs. So squig hogs. So all of the orc stuff is orc related. It's either squigs or squigoths or squig boars. But if they were to pick something that was not part of their genome, if you will, I think ambles would be really cool to have in an orc force.
Yeah, I could see a bunch of runt herders training those.
I mean, feeding them lots of grots, probably.
Yeah, that's right.
So great question. That's worth a lot of that's worth some good thinking there. I'm interested. I'm interested in where your brain's at, Sir Million Believer. That's really cool.
Also, I still want to know why my camera's picking me up as like a living saint with how light I am. I am just emitting, like I might be radioactive.
You are a luminous being, Alexis.
Apparently.
You are made of starlight. All right, Nestor Vitumbra. Hey, welcome, Nestor Vitumbra. Coming in with a steel chair, 10 euros. Fellow Yumis, boost the blood axes up to S tier because Day is proper sneaky and dressed just like Yumis. Now, if you excuse me, I was gotta go season some weird boys for the gold chair. The Emperor protects.
Love this.
Oh, Nestor, you're great. I love it. All right, blood axes are now the only one.
Oh no, they're behind the Rebel Grots because the Rebel Grots have a shield.
Do they? Okay, then
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think they did, but maybe they do.
No, they did because I think it was this one.
Well, I think I moved him back.
Oh, no, that was the moving one.
Lord Vorn's keeping track. He'll let us know. Or Hawk is keeping track. Yeah. He'll let us know. Grimgor and Starsnick aren't clans and aren't or even 40k. Yes, that's true. But super chat, I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to give it a try for the super chats. Thank you guys so much for the support. So we were talking about blood axes, weren't we? Let me just double check my notes. That's the Bad Moons.
Also,
there we
I
go.
think the Beast Nagas are for any clan. I keep forgetting what the Beast Nagas actually are.
So if Goths are the brutal clan, the Blood Axes are the cunning clan, the Cunnin clan. They typically are described as being a little more sensible and a little more willing to think things through than the other clans. They favor ambushes, cover, stealth, and tactical flexibility rather than just a big old mob charging in to the fray. They're the clan most associated with orc commandos and special assault units used for hit and run raids, sabotage, and precision strikes. And like Alexis said, assassination.
Mm-hmm. Good old assassination. It's a lot of fun.
The blood axe symbol is a blood-soaked axe directly tied to the clan as their totem-like emblem. They're also consistently described as wearing camouflage-style color schemes rather than the bright, flashy colors of other clans.
Do you know a joke never gets old, Ross?
Go for it.
When you see somebody walking around in camouflage and you just look at them and just go, "Oh, I didn't see you there." Yeah, Beast Nagas are like the Cult of Speed. Yeah, I got to remember that. I keep thinking the Beast Nagas are just one specific.
No, they're a pan clan organization like the Cult of Speed.
Next, you're going to tell me the Blood Axes are into polycules.
They're not, but they are. They do openly trade with humans, other Imperium groups, and other Xenos. They often parlay or negotiate when it suits them, according to that lore. They're also said to usually turn around and kill their trading partners, which makes them seem kind of treacherous and unorky by other orcs. Even older lore, here we go. Go ahead.
What part of that do you think is the unorky part? Killing their trade partners or trading with their trade partners?
I don't know. It's a good question. So some of the older lore from Here We Go to Orcs says that the Blood Axes were once the largest and most powerful orc clan, and this apparently triggered a massive civil war known as the Big Party.
I love that book.
Where they were purged by the other clans. The surviving Blood Axes were said to have gone into hiding and become more reliant on external groups for survival, which is why they do the trading and the mercenary work and the other things. But yeah, it's primarily they are the sneaky guys, and they have a special character called Boss Snickrot. Boss Snickrot is the head commando.
Ross, I have told you about this, and this is the perfect episode to bring this back up. Did I ever tell you how I got an entire unit removed from 40k?
Okay, let's hear it.
Now, I take full credit for this. It wasn't just me, but it was me. So, do you remember the 4th, 5th edition era codexes for orcs? The best codex in the history of forever. Now, do you remember late 5th edition, it was late 5th edition. Do you remember how characters attached to units and the characters' abilities got used to the unit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. Now, Boss Necrot had an amazing ability to come in from any table edge. This is very important.
I remember that.
Now, a certain Apocalypse book came out at the time. Now, in the Apocalypse books, they had units that were usable in 40k, but you had to get the tournament organizer's permission. Now, I went to Golden Spur, and this was a very, very, very big tournament, okay? And I asked, and I'm like, hey, is the Junka from this book usable in this game. And they're like, yes, all units from that book are usable in this game. You're going to run into a lot of Space Marine players and Eldar players using some janky stuff from that book. And I was like, okay.
Which book is this?
This is the Apocalypse book.
Oh, right. Yes, okay.
That included a certain unit called a Junka. Now, the Junka is very important. It's the key component of this entire story. So the Junka is a specially designed big mech transport. Okay? Now, the Junka could take a whole bunch of vehicle enhancements, including a Death Roller. Now, the Death Roller at the time did not have a model. It just used the front of the vehicle itself. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what the hell is a Junka? A Junka is any vehicle. Any vehicle can be a Junka. Anything can be a Junka. And it was highly recommended that you kit bashed one yourself. So I went to my local store and bought a Baneblade.
Oh, no. The only way this could be worse is if you had a Manta.
Oh, yeah, I wish. So I went and bought a Baneblade, took a toilet paper, not a toilet paper, a paper towel roll and put it in front of it and modeled this thing up to be a Death Roller and painted up this battle wagon and everything. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what the hell does Snickrot have to do with this?
He brings it on from any table edge.
So, a big mech with a personal transport that joins a unit can join Snickrot's unit and then use Snickrot's ability to bring in the vehicle from any board edge. This was at the time when, what was it called? Leaf Blower Guard were the meta. I brought in a Junka that could move 13 inches, and then its body had to come in. So that was an additional 10 inches. And this thing would come in and tank shock every single tank along the way. Now, the Death Roller stated that you did a Death of Glory, and you rolled a d6 and got strength 10 hits, and that's how many hits you got. And you got them exactly, and they hit rear armor.
Oh, God.
If the unit did not move, it was dirty. 2d6.
Oh, that is so dirty.
I proceeded to do this turn 2 of every single game.
Oh, no. Wow.
The unit was subsequently removed from 40K's lore and canon. I take full credit for this.
Wow. All I wanted to mention about the Blood X's is that there is a fan theory, that the Blood X's are sort of a buffer group between the Orcs and the Imperium. Like they are the ones that kind of act as like an early warning system for Orcs, because they're able to travel and talk to a lot of Imperial groups where the Orcs typically don't. I don't know about that. I think that's maybe leaning a little too far into the older lore, where they were more talky and more interested in working with the Imperium rather than just like pretending to be the Imperium.
Yeah. Although weirdly enough, this is not considered a retcon, as I just figure it as the Blood Axes simply forgot or moved on.
All right, we've got some. Let's make sure we got all the super checks here. We got this one about the Giants and Spiders. We got this one about the Blood Axes, which we did move. And we got this one from Lord Vorn. Hawksword and new Yorick logo. Try refreshing the list. Okay.
We refresh the list and it's gone. Everything is purple.
Let me take this down for a second.
Oh, and it's gone. Just like my hopes and dreams.
Oh, well, I don't see. I lost both of my special ones, so I don't see it on there. After the refreshing. It did not go well, Lord Ford. It did not go well. It did not go well. So I'm repopulating this. Hopefully you guys, you can tell me if I get this wrong, but I believe this was our list.
I think so. And I saw this comment from Clawhammer666. Damn it, Alexis, this is why we can't have nice things. You're right. Back in the day, though, when I was playing orcs, I was playing them during 5th and 6th edition, and a little bit in 7th edition. I gave up on them at that point. I actually sold them to my brother. Um, but yeah, I absolutely love them. But I was a hard tournament player at that point, like constantly going to every tournament I could. Yeah. But yeah, I love tournaments back in the day. I'm looking forward to 11th edition though. The terrain rules just came out today. They look fantastic.
So if I were to put the blood axes somewhere, I would actually put them probably into A tier. I'm a fan of the blood axes. I like their story. I like Snickrot. I like the sneaky aspect to them. And obviously they're very strong. They're very strong.
One of my favorite little tidbits of lore about the blood axes is that Snickrot was so sneaky that Gazgul couldn't find him, and so he left them on Armageddon. So I would put them in A tier for me, but yeah.
The Rebel Grots are probably my choice for S tier. This is the exception to capitalism in Orc society. The Rebel Grots are explicitly written as communists, as a parody of Soviet Russia, essentially. And they are, or maybe Stalin era, I'm not sure. But they're definitely a parody of certain aspects of Russian history. I would probably put them up to S tier because they are just so funny and so cool, and we get to see them so rarely. And like we said, and like even was pointed out in some of the super chats, there's so much potential for
I
Grots.
like what Games Workshop is doing with them, where they make them a Christmas event
Yeah,
every year.
yeah.
I love that. I think that's fantastic, and we need more of that.
Got another steel chair. Scar, Prince of the Parade. Now give me my Snark Stick and put it right above Ruggles Grot so he can be their sneaky king. Oh boy!
So,
All right,
yeah, that does it.
All right, Rebel Grots, Kid Scar Stick. What a world we are in. Do me a favor, talk about the Death Skulls for me.
So the Death Skulls. Where are you? I have some notes up about this. Do. So, okay, this is the clan of looters. These are the guys you don't want to have in your orc army, as weird as it is. Like, if you were Gazgul and you were leading your boys to go across no man's land, these are the guys that are going to stop, grab things, and just run away with it. Like, they're the dudes that are, like, think of them as the blood ravens of orcs. They're going to steal everything that's not nailed down. They love stealing stuff. They have mechs that build. They have tons of looted vehicles. Their mechs are actually really good at making and maintaining looted vehicles, and their looted vehicles are incredibly good. They make their mechs customized. Yeah, their mechs specialize in custom combi weapons, which a lot of other factions don't have access to. So they have like the combi flamer, which is the rarer of the combi weapons for orc weapons, but it's called the combi scorcher because of course it is, it's orcs. Where the most common combi weapon for the orcs is the combi rocket, which is just a one-shot rocket that the orcs typically shoot into like around the enemy and never really hit the enemy. But if they do, they're really good at it. What else can I say about the Death Skulls? They really like stealing.
They are. They're kleptomaniacs.
Yeah. I don't think they have a actual like big named character, do they?
There's a couple of characters that they're associated with them, but there's none that have a model. The Archmaniac of Calverna is a Death Skull.
Him a maniac.
I know. He's got a very heavily mechanized and mech heavy army. And then there's Fragrock the Planet Smasher, which is another Death Skull associated war boss, which I love that name, by the way. Known for overwhelming firepower and planet smashing campaigns. And this is an example of how the Death Skulls, they use scavenging on a large scale, because the Planet Smasher will swoop in and essentially sack an entire world.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a small rivalry between that and the Votan. The Votan hate this clan in specific.
Well, they don't like orcs in general, but yeah.
No, they hate orcs, but they hate them more.
Death Skulls are distrusted by other orcs because they will steal from their allies, any survivors they find in the battlefield, and even comrades from other clans, which reinforces their reputation as shifty thieves. Again, I feel like this is a parody of a subculture that I'm just not familiar with.
It kind of just like, I don't want to say this, but they're like the porch pirates.
They are noted as being unusually superstitious for orcs. They have a very strong belief that blue is a very lucky color, which is why their skull is in fact blue.
Which is funny because if they painted it red, they would actually think faster.
They field Ludas. Ludas are a particular unit that is fielded by them more often than any. They also have a lot of mech boys, mech boy driven warbands that build unstable but potent combi weapons, tanks, buggies, and other scrap tech devices.
Oh, and I do want to mention one quick thing about the Ludas. The Ludas come in typically two varieties when it comes to them shooting. They have a thing called the Deaf Gun, which makes them both go deaf and kill things, so it's a perfect name for it. But it comes in typically two varieties, which is Beamy Deaf Gun and Shooty Deaf Gun. And the Shooty Deaf Gun is made out of looted weapons such as like the Heavy Bolter, Heavy Stubber, auto cannons off of Terminators, and a whole bunch of things. In fact, if you actually pick up the model, you can tell the difference between a Shooty and a Beamy. The Beamy Deaf Guns are typically made out of things like multi-meltas, plasma cannons, las weapons, multi-lasers, anything that shoots a beam or that doesn't shoot a solid projectile.
Shooty versus Beamy is not something I expected to be talking about today, but I love it.
No, but it's so funny because this was actually so originally they were going to make the Luda Boys have two weapons, one an anti-tank weapon, one an anti-infantry weapon. The designers decided that they couldn't put enough bits in the box to make an even squad. That's actually why they added the mech, so that they did make an even squad with two Shooty, two Beamy. And you can see that this was a designer choice because in the Dawn of War 2 game, around the time the Luda box came out, one of the upgrades to a Shooty Luda gun or Shooty Def gun was to make it beamy and kill tanks. So it's a cool idea that GW kind of dropped. And now the Luda gun is kind of just your anti-light tank / elite infantry killer. But the flash kits just do more.
Some of the fan theories around the Death Skulls is that they form a marketplace for an orc economy. Like they are, if the Bad Moons are the merchants, then the Blood Axes are the distributor, or not the Blood Axes, the Death Skulls. The Death Skulls are like the distributors and the retailers. I don't know. That's a weird fan theory.
I kind of like it though.
As part of an orc economy, I can see that. I don't know if that they're the main,
because I see them more as the supply line.
Oh, like yeah, maybe raw materials. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
They would trade. So the Bad Moons would trade their tea for the gear, or okay, that makes sense.
Or in this case, it'd be robbed materials.
And the Blood Axes would probably have the black market in that case. Now, Death Skulls, they definitely use Gretchen to steal things, but some of the fan theories are that the Gretchen of the Death Skulls, which are the Grots, they're the goblin style characters, are like heavily organized into plunder squads and sabotage teams, and that the Death Skulls may have the most organized Grots of them all. That's an interesting idea. I like the Death Skulls being more into Gretchen and Grots. I think I think that's cool. I don't know if it's true, but it may someday be true because that's how these things work.
I mean, with the success of a lot of the orc books, like they've been selling like crazy. I can see GW like letting more lore be created by the writers, because the writers have a real passion for the orcs.
Skara, Prince of the Parade, $10. I want to be fun. Also, Alexis, you can choose what moves.
Blood axes to B.
Oof. Oof. Scar, Prince of the Parade, thank you. That was a very generous thing to do. Give Alexis a move. I appreciate that.
Now, I have a reason for this, and I get
All
to
right.
make this joke twice, which is odd that it happened twice. But they start with a B.
B for Blood Axe. Ricky Chapman says, if you didn't want it looted, you should have scrapped better. I like it.
Like, if it's not meant to be looted, why is it in stealing range? Just saying, it ain't my fault that you don't know how to stop your stuff from being stolen. Also, Ross, I saw that you had a battle wagon that recently got stolen. I have this battle wagon here with a fresh coat of paint on it. I'm selling it to you.
It looks a lot like the one I lost. Thank you.
No. This one's red.
Or blue.
No, that isn't a checker pattern. No.
If it were me, I would put the Death Skulls into B tier. I think they're not quite A tier.
Okay. And I don't see anybody going crazy about the Death Skulls.
Oh, wait. Skyra, Prince Parade. Ross, you move one too. Now I feel bad.
Okay, so we're not counting this one as the Death Skulls. You get to move one.
Okay, well, that's easy. Freebooters to S tier, baby. I love me some orc freebooters. Orc space pirates are the best. Thank you, Scar, Prince Parade. I appreciate you, buddy. That now we both got a chance to move things around.
The freebooters are a lot of fun, though.
We had if for anybody who's curious, we had a let's build our own orc freebooter, which became Face Flaya, who has some truly horrific war crime-esque battle tactics in space. So go check that one out if you're curious.
I love that one specifically because here's a lighthearted, fun thing that we could do, and the community is like, I want death and blood, and I want to make machines cry. And we're just like, okay, chill.
Face Flaya does indeed make machines cry.
He has that effect where who's the character from fantasy that makes undead fear him? Somebody who is a fan of fantasy, you know this. Tell me his name. He actually gives fear to undead.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't
that
remember
one.
his name.
What faction is he part of?
I don't. It's Harry Hammerstorm. Yes, I was about to say it might be Harry Hammerstorm.
Harry the Hammer.
Harry the Hammer.
Thank you, everybody. Tons of people chiming in. Okay, cool.
You guys are the best. This is why I love you guys.
So let's talk about the Evil Sons. They just got a new character.
We did just skip over the freebooters.
No, if we're going in alphabetical order, we definitely did not.
Orcs don't know the alphabet. All right, let's talk about Evil Sons.
So go for it. Who are the Evil Sons, Alexis?
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about Harry Hammerstorm.
Warhammer Fantasy probably has the wildest names of all of Games Workshop. Some of those names are insanely crazy or weird or goofy or whimsical. And some of them are just, flat out amazing. So
I love tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe. There's
Teeny weeny.
A King Louis Liancourt's mount is named Beaky.
It's amazing.
Which is funny as hell.
Okay. So you want me to talk about the Evil Sons?
Oh, Lord Croak is also pointed out by Lich Lord Kiers. Yeah, Lord Croak that's a very great name from Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah. So, Ross, you look like a scholarly gentleman who enjoys the max of madness.
I see where you're going with this.
So, what if I told you and the chat that there was a Mad Max style orc clan that loves loud engines, loud guns, big explosions, the manliest of men things from the early 80s.
Is it all about family?
No, this is the 80s one, not the 2000s.
So they are road warriors of some kind.
Yes. The Evil Sons are the red-clad orc clan that is obsessed with speed, power, and just revving their engines. The smell of gasoline everywhere. They're literally Mad Max. I don't know how else to describe them. It's Mad Max, the orcs. Big machines, big explosions, everything bigger there.
Yeah, the Evil Sons are a speed-obsessed orc clan. They have adopted the slogan "Red Ones Go Fasta" as a cultural mantra. So all their vehicles are painted red. They are called speed freaks, although they're not. There's a thing called the Cult of Speed, which is different than the Evil Sons. And we talked about this when we did our episode on Wazdaka Gutsmack. And you can go check that out because he is the special character associated with the Evil Sons clan. The Evil Sons are associated with red vehicle paint jobs and often paired with black or darker undertones. Their iconography is a sun-like or sunburst emblem around a snarling orky face. And this is the Evil Sun, which is kind of a totem symbol. It's not a god or anything, but it is. If there was a deity of speed for the orcs, it would be the Evil Sun.
How is there not a deity of speed for the orcs? A deity of Daka for the orcs?
Right?
Like, that has to be a thing at this point.
They
if I was adding orc lore to actual canon, it would be two other gods, Daka and Speed.
Daka and Speed would be great name. Or just assign those to Gork and Mork so that one has Daka and the other has Speed. But honestly, two new orc gods would be kind of interesting and cool. I would be really into that. The Evil Sons are framed as a mechanized, fast-moving element of orc armies. They're built around battle wagons, war bikes, war buggies, trucks, and the Defcoptas. Rather than static horde infantry mobs, they're usually meant for hit-and-run rapid assault units that open up the battlefield for the slower and heavier orc elements. The fan theories around them is that they might be psychologically addicted to speed. Like the sensation of moving fast is something that triggers something primal within the orc psyche. And the Evil Sons and the Cult of Speed are those orcs who feel that call the strongest.
God, I love them so much.
Another fan theory is that the aesthetic and the sensory overload of their activities is really their weapon. It's not so much the guns, it's the noise, the dust, the roaring of the engines.
I also found the quote I was looking for.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's faster than a war buggy, more killy than a war bike, that flies through the air like a bird? I got no bleeding idea, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Love it.
Cog the Fly Mech, pioneer of the Defcopter.
Love it. Well, so there's not a lot of love for the Evil Sons out there. Where would you put them on the chart?
So, as much as I love the Evil Sons, I think they're really cool and everything. If we were guaranteed to get new bikes, which unfortunately it weirdly doesn't look like we're getting new war bikes. I was a little bit saddened by that, but I'm still hopeful. I think as much as I hate to say this, C tier.
Okay, so here I'm gonna have to take a position where I agree completely with you on the subject.
Well, that's rare.
Evil Sons, I think the aesthetic is really cool. I love the idea of a Mad Max group, but unfortunately, they are a little bit boring. They're a little bit one note when it comes to orcs. They're all about going fast, and that's basically it. And Wazdaka has a little bit more character to him, but even so, he's more associated with the Cult of Speed than he is with the Evil Sons.
also, in all fairness, he only has a paragraph of lore.
which we have covered extensively in his own episode.
Yep.
So I'm going to agree. I'm going to say Evil Sons to see. They're cool, but they're not that cool.
Now. If we could get an Evil Sons dedicated Mad Max style book,
yes,
that explains all of their lore and actually talks about like the Great Race, or if they brought back Gorka Mork and made it all about the Evil Sons, I'd be right there with it. I'd be like, this is the greatest thing in the history of forever. We need to move this up to S tier. But as of right now, it's like, here's this cool aesthetic. And it's like, oh, cool. Can we actually see that aesthetic? No. And I'm like, oh.
Uh-oh.
God damn it.
Skara, Prince of the Parade, Evil Sons to S tier because screw you, I want it that way. They're fun. And also tell me if you have to date one orc girl or a guy of any clan, which one would it be?
Okay. Hear me out. So as much as I want to say Gosgol, I don't want to get in between his romance with Yarick. So I can't choose that one, obviously. But Orcomedes is up there. Just saying.
Do you find smart men sexy? Is that the thing?
I mean, Victor is a very smart person.
He would have to be.
He's also a very big person that is very strong. So, he's kind of...
He checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
He checks a lot of boxes.
I have a type. He just has to have a beard squig on, though.
So you would date, if you had to date someone, you would date Orcomedes.
Imagine the conversations you could have with him. I wouldn't understand them, but, imagine.
That's a really good choice. Like I struggled. I mean, now I'm gonna have to think harder because that's a really good choice. Off the top of my head, I was gonna say Boss Snickrot, because I really like
ghost you.
Well, that's true, but I like the Sam Fisher aesthetic he's got going on.
Yeah, that is true.
But if I think about it more, honestly, I might be more. I might be more into Wazdaka. He's got that. He's got that mystique about that great ambition of his to race across the galaxy. So,
oh my god,
put me in the sidecar. I'm riding with Wazdaka. if I have to date one.
I like it.
So Evil Sons, I guess.
We have another super chat here.
Clyhammer 666. Thank you, sir. I just want to put out, there was a research that said red vehicles get pulled over by police more often because they look like they go faster. That is true. That is a very true fact. And I'm glad you pointed that out. I was told by my parents specifically not to buy a red car. Skara, Prince of the Parade, $40. You know what? All the other ones not in S tier. Go to S tier now. Okay, everybody's in S tier. Look at that. Look at that beautiful lineup. Skara, you have assembled the absolute dream team.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Ryan and Andy are just not going to believe this at all. They're going to be like, what the hell happened?
All right, calm down there, Kira.
Oh my God, Alexis. Look at that S tier. It's just so green.
And I love that the one leading it is Yarick.
Oh my God. How amazing is that? Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Well, that does simplify things.
Now, God damn it. I will say people can still move things around. Yeah, but donating 10, you know the rules. So do I. Somebody's going to get mad that I said that because they're thinking of a certain song. See, somebody brought it up. I told you.
Digonobs. Digonobs are not orcs. They're humans who want to be orcs, but they're not orcs.
Cosplayers.
Yeah, they're basically cosplayers. That's true. All right, I lost track. Where were we? We were talking about Evil Sons, and freebooters would be next, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Would you like to talk about the Orc Space Pirates?
So freebooters are hands down probably, in my opinion, the best orcs. They would.
If I may, I'm sorry. Scar Prince of the Parade is an absolute mad lad, and I am so here for it. I've never seen this happen before. It's amazing. Attention, Nurgle S tier. All right.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't know. It's a very strange day here in the Lorebeards. But you know what? I'm here for it. Nurgle is green. He's just not an orc.
Oh my god. So weirdly enough, I did not write any like subtle notes at all for freebooters because I was just like, I'll remember everything. And now my brain went blank. But freebooters are orc pirates that literally have the pirate aesthetic, you know, the tri-brimmed hat, the pirate ship, ships with sails on them sometimes because that's how they roll. They have the crazy hats and like the crazy coats and everything. They are the ones that want to they actually, for the most part, are the most mercenary like orcs out of all the orcs, which is weird because a lot of orcs are mercenaries. So yeah.
Well, it's important to point out that freebooters are the exiles and the oddballs and the ones who just don't fit in to the other clans. They are orcs that have separated themselves from their original clan or tribe, often by exile or choice, and they go on to live lives of piracy, raiding, and mercenary work aboard stolen ships. Yeah, a lot of orcs are mercenaries, like tons of them.
Damn it. Sorry, I read the next super chat.
Put corn next to the blood axis too. Oh my god, what is happening today? The chaos and orcs are having a strange dance party in our tier list. I love it. I want to be clear. I love it. It's just this is not what I was expecting today. I did not show up to work today and be like, you know what's going to happen is we're going to have a lot of chaos and everybody's going to be an S tier. Didn't think that.
I don't think anything is what we expect to happen. It's like you're DMing a game. You have your notes and then you throw those out the window.
Yes, it's definitely some player bullshit.
There is a good question here. Who is hiring orcs though? So orcs get hired by rogue traders, by imperial officers sometimes, extremely rarely, but sometimes planetary governors, rarely, but it does happen.
There's a million worlds, and several of those worlds are ruled by absolute inbred idiots.
They will be hired by the Tau. The Eldar will trick them, sometimes actually pay them. Usually they skimp out on the bill though because they're Eldar. Other orcs tend to hire orcs on occasion if they need them. Like an upstart war boss will hire a bunch of freebooters to go and fight somebody else. Or a freebooting war boss will hire a bunch of freebooters to go and fight another war boss that he doesn't like. There's a lot of infighting in orcs. There's a lot of fighting in orcs.
There's
a lot of orcs.
If they can't find anyone else to fight, they will fight each other.
I mean, that's the best kind of enemy, isn't it?
It depends. Some orcs prefer to fight factions that have particularly strong groups. Like the Space Marines are considered one of their strongest enemies. That's why they really like to fight them.
So a follow-up question from the same person. Are orcs diplomatic enough to do that generally? Or is it just the freebooters? Weirdly enough, some, but it depends. It's usually the outcasts that'll be the ones that'll be hired, or the ones that are disgraced. Like if a knob tried to overthrow a war boss and got thrown out of the clan, then yeah, he'll eventually wind up just doing mercenary work. So yes and no, orcs are great for filling that role, especially if you're doing like an oh my god, Dark Heresy game or a tabletop RPG game using Warhammer system. You can have orcs for almost every role. They're great.
Hey Alexis, I've got something to show you.
What?
Scar, Prince of the Parade, coming in with 2 more steel chairs. All the Chaos Gods to S tier.
You know what? So long as you put Slaanesh at the top, I'm okay with that. And I will still argue that Slaanesh is the strongest Chaos God.
Where would you put if you were to put freebooters on a non S tier? Where would they go?
Top of A.
Really?
Second A, because I think Goffs would have to be the top of A.
I agree with you there. I think it would be Goffs and then the freebooters. Yeah, those are my top 2 for
Yep.
sure. What about
Yes, you can.
where did you agree with me on the Rebel Grots being S, or did you have a different place?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay. So
I like that they're being they're taken both seriously and as a joke, which is what orcs should be. They
yes,
should be the on occasion serious enemy that can overthrow entire worlds, but they should also be a more tongue-in-cheek, jokey army. Like, I love the old orc lore of an orc poking his head out a window, looking at 2 orcs that are fixing the wing of a spaceship, and goes, "Oi, you didn't wear your buckets." And then both orcs proceed to die. And then, that to me is hilarious because one, an orc spaceship has a window that they could open in space to look out of. And I think that's great. But it's like, I also love that orcs could be the greatest enemy of all of mankind, like in the Black Templar books, where they're actually horrifying, cooking and eating people.
all right. So for everybody's viewing pleasure, this is the current ranking. Everybody's in S tier, including Commissar Yerrick, who is the very front, who has several shields. Skarsnik, who is attached to the Rebel Grots, who have a shield. Grimgor, who should be attached to the Goth, so we'll just throw them up there. The Bad Moons, the Evil Sons, the Freebooters, Slaanesh, Khorne, Blood Axes, Test Skulls, Snake Bites, Nurgle, and Siege.
not Gork and Mork, mind you. The Chaos Gods.
Well, I mean, there's some question as to how influential and impactful Gork and Mork are. I mean, they seem to be gods that are talked about a lot, but don't actually manifest or do things. Whereas the Chaos gods are different in that regard, and the gods of the Eldari, of course, are the even more active and out there and doing things.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding anything that directly states that Gork and Mork actually did anything versus the orcs saying that they did something.
Yeah, they're very mythical gods. They're
Yeah.
part of the culture and they're talked about and they're celebrated. But it's very oh my god, here we go. Necro player, rename the tiers orcs versus everyone else.
God damn it.
Okay, let's see here. I mean, do we just how does it do I just rename every single one of these ABCDs, I guess, at this point?
I think we just know that it's that because trying to change it would mess with everything.
Well, I think I can do something like this. And I think I can definitely get one of them to say that for sure. So A tier is now orcs versus everyone else. Rename the tiers orcs versus everyone else. So S tier should be orcs, I guess.
Yes.
All right, I can make that happen too.
God, these let's tier list episodes are always just crazy.
Queen Caretaker in D tier. What is happening? We're being invaded by Warhammer Fantasy. Oh my god.
We also have the Chaos Gods coming here.
I mean, this is getting wild. Alrighty. So what else is there to say about freebooters? Don't forget Captain Badruck is a character for the freebooters.
Does Captain Badrook actually have a current model? I think he got discontinued. Where are the where are the freebooters? Huh. But yeah, I don't. Let me check GW's site real quick because I don't think that they have a model for him right now. Orcs. Xenos armies, the greatest Xenos army. Let's see. Yeah, they got Ward Snaga, but I don't think they have the greatest orc freebooter. No, no, they don't. Huh. That's so odd. I thought they would.
So yeah,
on my back. Yeah, you are.
this is a very wild tier list. This is probably the wildest tier list we've had. I'm not complaining, to be clear. Definitely not complaining.
They only brought him back as made to order. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
All right, so I will put this up, and then I will talk a little bit about freebooters. The freebooter bands. The freebooter band is kind of like the Cult of Speed.
Damn it!
All right, I will get to that. I want to finish talking about freebooters. The freebooters are a little bit like Cult of Speed in that they are a pan. They cross clans. Anybody who's a part of a different clan can be a freebooter. You don't have to be a part of any individual clan. The freebooters see themselves as above or outside of the normal clan structure and loyalty. They choose to live independent lives with pirate type gear and clothing that reflects their free booting nature, if you will. They're sometimes called renegade orcs, bandits, or outlaws, and they're kind of like the fringe of orcish culture. Because of their sort of outcast nature. They are seen by other orcs as greedy. And they do seem to be driven by loot, but also by adventure and the thrill of space pirating. They have this swaggering, flamboyant, jolly orc aesthetic, which tends to mimic human pirate culture.
There has to be something in Warhammer's like psychology that affects every race to eventually become pirates. Everyone wants to be pirates.
They wear ostentatious gear. They wear like earrings, nose rings, flashy coats, large hats, often decorated with the Jolly Orc skull and crossbones, which is their universal symbol, and you can actually see it right there on the little emblem for them. Freebooters will fight for the Imperium, human, Xenos, or other orc tribes if the price is right. They're usually temporary allies or raiders rather than any kind of long-term they don't make long-term contracts. Let's put it that way. They're especially likely to take on any jobs that involve sabotage, planet raiding, convoy pirating, or hit-and-run boarding actions. They're not really into the whole frontline WOG grind like the Goths are.
They don't have that WA grind set.
Interesting note here, because freebooters typically lack ready access to pain boys and mech boys, many freebooters have eye patches, peg legs, hook-handed injuries, and other rough and ready scars that are patched up in crude ways. They tend to not have the luxury of a typical or full orc support structure like the other clans do.
It's actually kind of weird because you would expect them to have a lot of mechs.
The fan theories are pretty great here. One of the fan theories is that the freebooters often absorb exiles, mutants, battlefield renegades, and warbands that have lost favor with their war bosses, which kind of turns them into sort of a dumping ground for the odder or more dangerous orcs that other clans would rather not keep around.
I heard otter instead of otter.
Odder. Odd.
Yep.
As
now
an
I'm
odd.
picturing otter orcs.
They're led by captains with a K, which are the tougher and meaner and more flamboyantly dressed war bosses. They often hide many weapons and rum flasks under their big coats and hats. Captain Badrick leads a group called Badrick's Flash Gits. Flash Gits are the unit most closely associated with freebooters, and these are the guys that have the big flashy guns. They're
the
also
gun.
They're also associated with the Bad Moons, but freebooters, Bad Moons have the Flash Gits as well. Isn't that right? They both have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will say one thing about the Flash kits. Holy crap, do I hate painting them, and I want them to have a new model. That gun is so goddamn annoying.
All right, Sebastian Miller. Oh my God, Tomb Kings are going to S tier. Good Lord.
What the fuck is happening?
I have no clue. We've talked about Goffs already.
Yes.
So that means alphabetically snake bites are the next one to talk about while I go find some Tomb Kings.
So snakebites are the traditionalists of the orcs. They believe in the whole back in my day we didn't have no fancy technology. We just hit things with our fist. I don't know why they became like Southern.
Why did that happen?
Because rednecks are like the furthest thing from like traditionalists. It's very weird. They're actually more associated with rebels. But anyway, the Flash kits prefer to have as little technology as possible, and they're closer related to feral orcs, which are orcs that are just kind of a little bit rabid and a little bit more bitey than punchy. The orcs that gnaw on you.
Scar, Prince of the Parade. Oh my God, look at the size of that steel chair. Put Gork and Mork in a tier above S tier called the greatest gods.
I don't know.
What even is my life? What is my life at this point? I don't know. I think it's so crazy. Add a row above called the greatest gods.
One thing I do want to mention is that snake bites are they are the most prone to becoming beast snagga boys because they're the ones that are actually like hog tying and catching. Why am I going Southern on this?
Hog tying.
Like, I don't know
why
they're like this now, but that's what they are. These are the orcs with the Southern drawl, I guess.
Finding images of Gork and Mork could be really tough.
There's only one image of them. One actual image of them. And it's them two wrestling in the sky.
Okay, I'll keep an eye. I'm looking for it now.
Now, weirdly enough, snakebites have the least amount of lore and no real character that stands out as like, this is the snakebite character. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Oh no, they do have one.
Who?
No, they definitely have one. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find it. So the snake bites. Here we go.
I can't think of one that just like stands out and is like amazing that I've.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something completely different. I could have sworn that there was one though.
Yes, they have banjo battles with Noise Marines now. That's canon.
I want to say that they had one. Again, I could be just completely wrong.
Like at first, I thought it was the Runt Herd, the named Runt Herd that
Grak the Mighty. Grak the Mighty is chieftain supreme of the Snakebite War clans on the jungle world of Kongjaro. The bearer of the Great Club. Zodgrod Wartsnaga is also
he's from there.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that is my bad. I did not.
But Grak the Mighty is the biggest one, and then there's Zodgrod Wartsnaga.
Oh my God, how could I have forgotten the guy that turns people into squigs?
Is that him?
Yes. Old Zogwart.
He turns people into squigs.
Yes, his magical ability in the older editions were, I don't care about your rules. I remove you and replace you with a squig.
I reject your reality and replace it with my own.
I reject your reality and replace it with squig.
You are now squig. Welcome to Squighood. Now, that is a psychic ability that is entirely in character for the orcs.
Yep.
And would honestly be horrifying.
My favorite part of that whole thing was that you had to provide your opponent with a squig model. So if they had a squig, no, I have to provide it. Because that old codex was crazy.
Those were the days, man. Those were the days. So we were talking about snake bites, weren't we?
Yes.
Would you be shocked to learn that they are the traditionalists, even though they are the staunch traditionalists in that they are into what the orcs used to, what they believe the orcs used to be. They
which is weird because we know that the Krorks were like very technologically advanced.
True, but snake bites believe in primitive orc ways, even by orc standards, primitive stuff. They are known for their thick, leathery hides, their uncouth practices. One of their traditions that gets directly called out is the use of live venomous creatures in their coming of age rituals, which gives the clan its name and reinforces the idea that they're this sort of cult dedicated to the old ways of the orcs. The snake bites are orcs that lean towards melee heavy, low tech mob assaults with more big clubs and axes rather than guns. And when they attack, they come in large, poorly armed, but extremely ferocious waves, often accompanied by packs of squigs and other monstrous beasts. So the enemy is buried under a moving tide of groaning orcs and snapping squigs. Snake bites are strongly tied to squig breeding as their cultural specialty.
Sure. I hope they explain how squigs breed.
I mean, I think it's about like making certain types of squigs, creating or fostering or
you
growing.
See this
I'm not sure how that works.
Growing thing here? Shoot snot at it every 6 hours and we'll get an oil squig.
Their snakebite camps are described as chaotic, noisy scenes of snarling squigs, Gretchen, and drumming orcs. Yes, they like to drum.
I know in the Dawn of War, the first Dawn of War game, they're the ones that train the gargantuan squigoth.
And they're supposed to be a part of Dawn of War 4, the snakebites are.
Yeah.
What's their Dawn of War 4 character's name?
I have no idea. That's the guy on the shark. What's his name? But that's the oh my god, he rides the great white squig, but he's a beast snagga. But I think he is still a snakebite. That's a Magrog Scrogbad. That's a name.
I mean, when that game comes out, we're definitely gonna have to cover this guy.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do a let's play of it, obviously.
Yeah, Guzkutta. No,
is that the one from the new game?
No, that's no. Beast.
Well,
no.
It might be because I
no,
think
it is. You're right. No, that is the one. Yeah, Guzkutta is it's Gorguts and Guzkutta. And Guzkutta is the snakebite one.
Yeah, because they're not using the great white squig because they don't want to use too many named characters.
Mm.
It's mostly so Lion can kill it at the end of the game, probably.
So the snakebites are basically your beast tamers, your menagerie keepers, your zoo boys. They're flexible, but not really actually technophobic, despite their feral image. Snakebites are not exactly hard-coded to reject technology. The lore makes it clear the snakebites will use guns. They will use vehicles. They will even use captured squigoths as their Titan equivalent whenever they can get them. The low-tech vibe is more about prioritizing melee and beasts and numbers, but they do not refuse DACA if it's on offer.
Makes sense.
Their colors are brown and beige, and they are often shown with bone-like armor plates, scrap hide clothing, and crude asymmetrical armor, reinforcing their primitive tribal aesthetic.
It's pretty badass, to be honest. Like, let's be real. They're really cool. They train beasts. I just want more squig units. Like, I know we got the squig hog boys, but I want the squig hog grots. I want grots on squigs. We have them in fantasy, throw them into 40k. Boom. Brand new unit. Make them terrible. Just make them OC 0 because they can't control themselves, and just have them run at the opponent and just bog them down a little bit and explode.
I mean, it's interesting. So there are some really fun fan theories about the clans in general. that I was going to go over as well. One of the fan theories that I actually really like is the idea that the clans, your clans, is actually genetic subcasts built into them by the old ones. So that each clan is not just a cultural fad, if you will, but they're biologically distinct orc subspecies with slightly different profiles in their DNA, each one geared towards specific roles. So you got your melee brutes, you got your speed freaks, your gunslingers. If you pair this idea that the pressure of the environment can enhance certain traits over time, this can give you an idea of like maybe this is how the Krorks broke down over time, is that they originally were all one thing and then they started to split up and develop differently based on where they were in the galaxy.
Now, Ross, hear me out. There are how many major orc clans? 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So hear me out.
7 if you count the freebooters.
We're not counting freebooters for this, just
Okay.
so it works with the 6. So, orcs had that giant civil war that we mentioned before. Now, 6 of those orcs got to meet the last Cork and gain all their magical power.
This is a Sisters of Battle thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very weird that it keeps happening. GW loves 6. It's 6 of anything. If they can make 6 of something, they make 6 of it.
So under this theory, the Bad Moons and the Evil Sons are the economic drivers of orc society. The Bad Moons kind of build the economy. The Evil Sons create all the gear. And the other clans act as like labor and consumers. The Goths, under this idea, are the true descendants of the original orc fighting clans, the closest living form to the original Krork warrior caste. And the Blood Orcs may have been the original rulers of the old orc social order, because the Blood Axes were once described as being the dominant clan. So orc nobility turned outlaws is a pretty cool way to characterize the Blood Axes.
That really is. I do really like that idea.
So I thought that was interesting. There's headcanon about the Rebel Grots too. And one of the theories amongst fans is that the Grots were originally the brains or the administrators of the Krork Empire, while the orcs or Krorks were the muscle.
So one of the theories that I heard is that the Grots were what's known as brain boys originally.
Maybe
they were small and super smart, but then they started when the orcs rebelled. When the Krorks became the orcs, they simply just beat them into submission.
Quite possibly, or they were diminished over time by being bullied. Some theories are that the brain boys were the old ones, though. So maybe they're the old ones, maybe they're the Grots. One of my favorite fan theories is that the Grot Revolution is secretly bankrolled by the Inquisition.
I love that idea. That is 100% what an Inquisitor would do.
Imperial Inquisitors, possibly radical Ordo Xenos ones, could ignite and shape the Grot Revolution in order to destabilize the orcs from within. I like the Grot Revolution better as organic, but I also like the idea that they're helped by the Inquisition. Like I think that's my favorite version of that, is that they're helped around. We've got a super chat from Ricky Chapman. Boom! Newest orc book shows. Why are we all in caps on these? I feel like I'm
all
shouting.
Caps. You have to yell the whole thing.
The newest orc book shows how cool each of the clans are, along with making Ghazghkull freaking terrifying, to the point we look at the lion and worry, for if they fight, the lion isn't walking away. Ooh, bold statement. Bold statement.
I mean, the lion is stated multiple times to be the greatest fighter amongst the Primarchs. He's duelists specifically.
Certainly in the top 3. Yeah. I would say he's definitely in the top 3. Yeah, that's a bold statement. Ghazghkull, though, he is the anointed Prophet of Gorkamork, he is a super badass. He's the strongest war boss in the galaxy that we know of, aside from maybe the Archfiend of Octarius, or that one you like to talk about, the Demon Killer.
Yeah, Tuska the Demon. Well,
Tuska.
he's not even in the galaxy right now.
He's technically in the warp, yeah.
Yeah.
So who would you put your money on, Ghazghkull or the Lion?
The Lion. It'd be a tough fight, but it would be the Lion winning.
So
Like,
I'm
as much as I love Ghazghkull, I think he's simply like in a 1v1, I think the Lion has him. But I think the fight would be like they fought each other, they got good hits on each other, the plot drove them apart, they swear vengeance against each other. Because that's how Games Workshop writes books.
I think it would be a pretty epic match, but my feeling is I would also give it to the Lion. He's fought monsters that are on par with Ghazghkull in the past and has already beaten them. He knows how to beat them.
He also came back and beat the shit out of Angron.
Well, there's that. I think it would be one hell of an epic fight, though. I don't think the Lion would say that was an easy battle by any means.
No.
I think the Lion would be like, "Holy crap, that was a strong ass orc."
Yeah.
So
I think
would
the
give
thing
the
that
Lion.
would give Ghazghkull the advantage is the teleporting.
Maybe, but the Lion can use the forest to move around as well. So
yeah, and he has the Mirror Force shield.
The Emperor shield. Yeah.
Yep. Which hits people with the exact same force that they hit him with. You've activated my trap card. Mirror Force.
What are the other fun facts? Okay, go
also,
ahead.
we gotta mention that Lion's armor, what it's made out of.
What is it made out of?
Plutonium.
Another fun fact I wanted to bring up is that if you look at it through a certain lens, the Rebel Grots, that is the first liberation movement in 40K that has actually worked over a long period of time. It's the one place where a subspecies captive to Xenos has actually organized and fought back successfully. In contrast to endless human suffering under the Imperium, and no secession from the Imperium has ever really worked. It is, that's a theory, right? And in more case of fact, Games Workshop tends to use the Goblin Revolution more for dark comedy and subversion humor rather than any kind of serious liberation allegory. But I like that. One of the things I like about this channel is that we look at things from different points of view. We're like, okay, here's what Games Workshop presents it as. Here's what it might be. Here's what it could be.
So what I'm thinking that they could do with the Grots in the future is something like what they did with the Kroot for Tau in 10th edition, where they have a whole detachment dedicated strictly to them. I think they could have the Grot Revolutionary Army and keyword things to Grot to gain all these bonuses. And you would have things like they'd have to bring back a couple of units and make new units, which is fine because Games Workshop has no problem just making new units out of nowhere. Rogaldorn tank, came out of nowhere. That new Knight chassis that just appeared. But I would like to see like Grot tanks actually get a model. Like I would love to see it. Tin Boy robots. I'd like to see them get a model. I know exactly how I would build that unit too. It would have a Grot mech with them, and it would have like 3 to 4 Tin Boys with them, and they just have medium weapons like custom Mega Blasters, where it's like short range and they're not that tough and they're really easy to kill, but they're also dirt cheap, so you don't really care if they die.
Well, 40K does have one thing that Fantasy doesn't have, and that is Snotlings. Snotlings, of course, are the even smaller version of orcs. If an orc and a Grot or Gretchen is the equivalent of like a person and a child, right? Like the Gretchen looks like a child compared to the orc. Snotlings look like children compared to Gretchen. So I think it'd be fun to throw in to bring Snotlings back and have like a Snotling swarm, or just they could just be on the base, like a lot of the Age of Sigmar models have the little sprites or spirits or homunculi or whatever those things are on the
Mm-hmm.
bases. You could have actual little mascot like grots, or not grots, snotlings for the rebel grot faction.
Yeah. I think Stormcloak, yeah, is saying that Fantasy has them as well.
Oh, do they? Okay, I thought that was Noblars. I guess I was mistaken. Fair
I
enough.
always thought it was Noblars too. That we don't know much about Fantasy. That's why we talk about 40K.
I know. So I can hold my own on fantasy. Typically, I'm not as encyclopedic as Andy and Ryan.
If you need me to talk about big hot snake lady, I could do that.
Slanesh, right?
No, Marathi.
Marathi. Oh, you know Marathi. Well, because
Yes.
she's associated with Slanesh, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. When I saw her model, I bought her entire army, and then I never played AOS. That's not true. I played AOS a few times, but the group that I was with were very, very, very cutthroat.
Ricky Chapman says the book makes Gazgul look like the War Master Ascended. He's a nightmare if he's actually going to throttle the wog leaking out of him. If he's actually going full throttle, the wog leaks out of him. Okay. So if under this perception, Gazgul is empowered by the wog, the Great Green, right? Gorkamork are essentially, if he is like Horus Ascended, then he has actually got the power of gods inside of him.
In all fairness, weird boys are described much in the same way, where they can't control the power of the Wa if there's too many boys around them chanting and screaming and carrying on and shooting and killing. They tend to explode as well. But Gazgul can actually maintain himself. So
in a scenario where Gazgul is empowered by Gorkamork, like Horus was empowered by the Chaos Gods, that does change the equation in battle against the Lion.
Yeah, it does. I still think Lion would take it, though.
It certainly narrows any gaps. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
I think it might put Gazgul in the lead, but I would argue maybe not by I don't think Gazgul would have an easy time with the Lion. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
If Gazgul were to win, and it's very likely he would win in this scenario, if he's got the full Great Green, the Wog, Gorkamork are powering him up, yeah, he could probably beat the Lion. But again, I think he would know he was in one hell of a fight at the end of the day.
Also, it's the Lion. He would cheat if he's going to lose the fight.
Well,
like,
yeah,
he would tell his men to open fire on Gazgul.
He's a dick like that. That's true.
Yeah, I mean but it's the smartest thing to do in that scenario. It's like, oh, 1v1 fight. No. It's not cheating, it's being smart. Yeah, see, you get it.
It's not cheating. Well, I mean, it kind of is cheating.
Nonsense. Right. Cheating is for those who follow the rules.
So for me, I think if I was doing this list, I would probably put snake bites into C tier. I think they're fine. They're still kind of like, it's the one joke done over and over again. They have their niche, and their niche is interesting. I'm not saying it's not, but to me, I think they are the probably the least interesting clan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if we were doing this ourselves, I think we would have the Rebel Grots in S, the Goffs and the Freebooters in A, the Evil Sons, Bad Moons, and Blood Axes in B, which would put the Death Skulls into C tier, I think.
Yes. Oh, and the Tomb Kings as well into C tier.
The Tomb Kings. I don't even know what the Tomb Kings are doing here. We got a super chat that said Tomb Kings death, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
They just showed up.
I mean,
we don't know what happened. They just showed up.
It's unexplainable. But there they are. I think that is probably a fairly realistic look at the tier list. I think it's hilarious that our fans are like, no, they're all the most amazing. They must all be S tier because they're all orcs.
Orcs all the time.
This is the part where I say I've never met more passionate fans of 40K than the orc players.
Orc players are always the best.
We've got
Also, one of my favorite things about orc players in
Sebastian Miller
40K.
says, "I regret nothing."
Yeah. But one thing I absolutely love about orc players is that when they bring their armies into like battle, even if they're playing a mirror match with each other, typically their armies, vehicles, and units don't look the same. Like they could have the same list and it'll look different, and I love it.
Got a super chat from Ricky Chapman. Also in the book, a blood axe invents beer cans. What is this book? Which book is this? Give me a title. I want to know more. I want to know more. Inventing beer cans.
Now, Ross, you know how to take down an orc in combat, right? It's
With
in the Ministorum field manual. You
okay.
simply grab them by the hand, control their wrist, and stab them in the face while you throw them to the ground.
Yes, the orcs are notoriously
Super easy.
weak and clumsy, I think, according to the field
Yep.
manual.
Incredibly weak, incredibly clumsy. They are prone to falling down. You just simply wrist control, your muggers breaking in, you just get that wrist control and then you pull out your gun. If somebody gets that reference, that is a really old YouTube skit from a very long time ago. And if somebody gets that, I won't feel alone and old.
So we know that Gazgul is going to Armageddon. We know Wazdak is going to Armageddon.
Yep.
And it's likely there's going to be
I think
representatives.
Nazdrug is also there.
As I say, I think there's going to be representatives from almost all the clans. Do you think the freebooters and the snakebites are going to play a big role in the War for Armageddon, the upcoming War for Armageddon?
So, no, I don't think they're going to play a major role, but I think they're going to be mentioned. Like that's the big thing, as I don't think that they're going to be like, oh, and then the evil son's character popped out of nowhere, and it's this guy, the teeth smasher. No, Orc likes him because he smashes their teeth.
If you were to create a special character for the snakebites, because they don't have one, I mean, not really. What would you do?
Okay, a special character for the snakebites. That's an interesting one. They're the traditionalists, so let's
Cyborg Rider or Squigoth Rider or
okay. As weird as this is, no, because they're not the sneaky boys.
no, that's the Blood Axes.
Okay, I think it would be a mounted runt herd.
See, okay, I was thinking Red Herd for the Death Skulls because they do have like their Gretchen teams.
Yes.
But you can have multiple Red Herds, and there's no reason why you couldn't have a mounted Red Herd. If it was a Red Herd like guy, but he was actually corralling beasts instead of Gretchen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. He just
Okay.
leads a squad of squigs, and he's just mounted on a squig so that he can keep up with them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm down. Sort of an orc Layman Russ. He's got his squigs with him and rides a squig.
Yeah. Like it's just a pack of squigs that just run across the field. They're not very strong. They're only like strength 3, but there's like 50 attacks from them because it's orcs. And during the WA, they get super powered because they would.
I might go the weird boy route with snakebites and have like a really named powerful weird boy.
Okay.
Wurzag, of course, in fantasy is that version. But I would find a 40K equivalent of Wurzag and bring him over and have a named weird boy. Somebody whose head does not explode for some reason.
He explodes others' heads.
Yeah. For the Death Skulls, I think I would do a runt herd, an actual runt herd with actual like a bunch of grots that he's herding around. And for even more fun, I would make this guy like a rival or arch enemy of the Red Gobbo.
Okay. I like it. We also got a super chat from Ricky Chapman. Bosco Thraka, Warlord of Warlords by Danny Flowers, who also wrote the Grotsnick book.
Okay. Guys, I want to read all these damn books. It's hard, man. There's so many of them these days. Good Lord.
Just sit down and read 42 books in one day.
I mean, I will try. I will absolutely try, because right now my to read list is getting very long.
Yeah, same. It is huge, and I keep buying cyberpunk comics and gargoyle comics, and then other books, and then manga, and then books, and I'm like,
But
all the characters are blending together.
well, here's the thing. Our community, the lore seekers, are really passionate about their source material, and this is where I get a lot of my reading recommendations are from the chat. So big thanks to all of you guys. This is probably the best time for me to say that if you're enjoying a deep dive into the grim darkness of the far future, please do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button so that you can spread the heresy to the algorithm to get more brains and minds watching the Lorebeards. We appreciate you.
Heck
Also, our Discord is a pretty happening place. If you want to join us and become part of the Lore Seeker community, Lord Vorn or Hawk can put up a link to the Discord, and you guys can come join us and learn what's coming new for Lorebeards, and maybe even vote on what our topics are going to be in the future.
Yeah, we got some good topics coming up.
We
got
really
some good
do.
characters I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
Rebel. Are there any orc characters we want to talk about?
Gaskell and Makari, for sure.
Yeah. I think when we do Gaskell, we do Makari also, because they're
yeah,
okay.
Sure, why not? I don't think Makari needs a whole episode. I would love to do Boss Necrot and Mad Dog Grotznick. I would love to do actually, we should do one on Gorguts when Dawn of War 4 comes out.
Oh my god, I would love to talk about Gorguts, and I would be saying his quotes and everything.
Oh yeah,
Gorguts is amazing. Dude is
he's my favorite orc character who doesn't have a model, is Gorguts.
It's so weird that he doesn't have a model. Like, it is so bizarre that he's one orc. So many orc characters don't have models. Like, old Zogward never had a model, which is weird. Like, you just used the weird boy, or you went to the fantasy side and grabbed any weird boy from them that had a different name, but you would use it as orc weird boy.
Wizard or shaman or caster, depending on the edition and what they were called. So yeah, we need to do one on him. Captain Badruck could be fun, although I feel like we've covered the freebooters pretty deep.
We have.
Oh yeah, Rothian Fairmoon says, I think there should be a squig special character that could be a giant cave squig for 40k. Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
Absolutely, 100%. Would love to see a named squig. Would be pretty sweet.
Technically, we have one with the great white squig that's ridden by the new war boss on a squig. The squig. That's Mazrog Snargbad rides as the great white squig, but I think we need a squig that is its own character. Oh my god. And Captain Bloodflag. Yes.
Bloodflag. Oh, that's the guy from Dawn of War 2, right?
Yep. I absolutely love this guy. He has my favorite quote in the entire history of orcs. The classic blunder, popping out before we could find you.
Yeah. Mazrog deserves some time, because he does ride the great white squig.
And he only has like a paragraph of lore.
That's fine. We made it work for Wazdaka
Gunsmack.
Yeah, why not?
Well, what I'm hoping for is by the time we get to him, there's more lore.
That would sure be nice. His Mazrog rides the great white squig. It's nicknamed the Big Champa. It's a pale-skinned albino squigosaur, and Mazrog is the only one who can control it.
They do have squigosaurs.
Yes.
Like, that being said, it shows us that they have other squigs. Give us those things. I don't care that they're redundant units. Give me more stuff to buy, Games Workshop.
Yeah, and he is the Snakebite named character. I should have brought him up earlier when we were talking about Snakebites. Snakebites are kind of the white scars of the orc clans. They don't get a lot of coverage.
Yeah.
Maybe Death Skulls too, I would guess. I think Blood Axes, Evil Sons, Bad Moons, and Goths get like the majority of the attention.
No, so here's a question for you. if you had to compare, because you just did one of them, if you had to compare the 7 of them to Space Marine chapters, who would they be?
Goths would be Ultramarines because they're
Yes.
the they're
Yeah.
the they're the archetypical. They're the most common. I would compare Bad Moons to the Imperial Fists.
I'm right there with you on that. That's the one I was gonna pick.
I would compare the Evil Sons to the Blood Angels.
Yep.
I would compare the Blood Axes to the Raven Guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Stealthy.
I would compare the Freebooters to the Red Corsairs, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah.
You didn't say loyalists, so you know.
I did not say loyalist. You are correct.
Snake bites would be the world eaters, I guess, would be closest. And death skulls would be the
Blood Ravens.
blood ravens. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Unquestionably, you're right. Blood ravens would be the death skulls equivalent. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Nestor Vitumber did that. Oh, thank you, Nestor Vitumber. Appreciate you, buddy. We have our chat's great. Why is Queek Headtaker even on this list? Why are the Tomb Kings on this list?
I don't know why.
I don't know. I have no clue.
I'm so confused by this list.
Grimgor makes some sense. So does Scarstick. I'm like, okay, I get that. Like they're both from fantasy, but they're definitely thematic, to orcs and 40k. The
Our
chaos
chat is weird.
The chaos gods, though, they don't really seem to do a lot with the orcs. The orcs don't seem susceptible to chaos corruption, or certainly not in the same way the humans are.
So one of my favorite tidbits of lore is that when an orc becomes chaos corrupted, it's seen by other orcs as a fad.
And
then
they
they beat them up, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll just be an orc." They literally beat the chaos out of them. It's so funny. And then there's of course Headtaker, who flies around without a Gullerfield because he wants demons to infest his ship so his boys have something to do. And this lore has been used all over the place now, that orcs will fly without Gullerfields because they want something to do during travel. And it's like, it's really funny that demons are being preyed upon by orcs.
So here's a theory. This is only a theory, pure speculation, an informed guess at best. It's not a phase, boss. Spitfire. My theory is that Gork and Mork do watch over the orcs, but they do it from a distance. They are engaged in a scrap between themselves, and so they don't have a lot of attention to spare for individual orcs, but they do empower, they do guard, like, the souls, if you will, of the orcs from chaos. Chaos can corrupt orcs, as you said, but orcs are inherently
resistant.
Not resistant. Well, they're resistant to the spread of corruption because, again, as you point out, they'll find the orky guy and just beat him to death, or beat him or beat the corruption out of him. Yep. And I think that is why the chaos gods are just not that interested in the orcs. It's difficult to get your hooks into them. Mm-hmm. And even if you do, they have a pair of very powerful gods backing them up. And the chaos gods, while there are 4 of them, they typically don't work together very often. Horus was like the one time where they were like, yep, we're all in this together, boys.
I mean, even with Abaddon, they don't technically work together. They all just gave him a boon. But they're not necessarily giving him all of, like, what they did for Horus.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a theory that the Great Green is actually Gorkamork. Like, that is Gorkamork.
Yeah, it's another word for the power of the gods.
Yeah.
It's another word for the orcish collective psyche, if you will.
And we do know that orcs, well, all sentient beings, their essence, soul, whatever you want to call it, goes into the warp when they die, unless it gets trapped into a gem or sometimes pulled into a machine. Um, but I think the orcs actively, the Great Green is the collection of dead orcs that has just bound itself together. Like, I think the orcs actually have, like, for the most part, an actual, like, safe life when they enter the warp because they're just going to be in with other orcs.
You mean when they die?
Yeah.
Because they do enter the warp constantly and they're not
Well,
safe.
yeah. I mean, when their physical form is destroyed and their soul or whatever it
Yeah.
is goes into that.
I think Orc and Mork absorb the souls of the dead orcs. Yeah, I think. And again, what a soul is and how it acts in 40K is very inconsistent.
It changes between writer and writer. It's never the same thing twice. It's the same with like certain powers in 40K, how like they're not consistent. Time isn't consistent in 40K. So a lot of what we're saying is the best estimates that we can make based on the lore that we know.
We have a show coming up on Saturday, which is the Power of Faith, where we will talking about souls a little bit more there as well. And
a fun one.
Here's my thought. The most consistent viewpoint on souls that we have is actually through the lens of the Craft World Eldar, the Asuryani, because they have been consistent since they were first introduced to second edition about souls and soul spirit stones and things like that. I'm not saying that the Eldar are correct, and I'm not saying that that is the only way that souls work. I'm just saying it is the most consistent viewpoint we've had on the subject.
Yeah.
But that being said, we have a question here about Blitzroy Cares. Did the beast belong to a specific clan, or was it just its own separate thing? We did cover this a little bit earlier. The beast did not belong to a clan. He was above the clan structure. He was a very, very he was a warlord of such power and strength that he was simply beyond clans.
Yep.
I would argue Ghazghkull is heading that direction. Ghazghkull may be connected to the Goth clan. He may be absolutely like the head of the Goth clan. But I think his influence and strength is growing to a point where other clans, like the Cult of Speed and like Wazdaka, are willing to just say, yep, you're in charge. You're the guy. You're anointed by Gork and Mork. You're his prophet. The closest equivalent to the beast is Ghazghkull, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, I just checked if Tuska the Demon Killer has a stated clan. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think the Overfeed of Octarius does either.
Yeah, and he doesn't have like a specific like model or anything that we can, a piece of art that we could just look at and be like, yep, that's this clan. Because a lot of the times, there goes Kovu. A lot of the times when a character has like artwork, we could be like, okay, he has checker patterns across his arms. That's a Goth. He has a blue skull. That's the Death Skulls. He's in bright yellow. It's the Bad Moons. But characters without art and without certain things, we don't know.
We need to talk about the Octarius War soon, because the Octarius War is all about orcs and demons going at it hard. Oh no, orcs and Tyranids going at it hard. Tuska is the one that fought the demons. No, it's Tyranids and orcs on a massive scale fighting each other in the Octarius region. And it does have a conclusion. Whoever wins the Imperium is not going to be happy. No. So there's that. But I believe the orcs win that one.
I think they do win it overall.
We're gonna cover it because it's a very interesting and fascinating event in the timeline of Warhammer 40K. But that brings us. I think we're at the end of the tier list. I think we've covered it as far as we possibly can.
Yeah, I do think so. We will open it up to Q&A. If you guys want to ask questions about orcs, you want to know certain things, and or yell at Ross, be my guest.
Oh, it should be pointed out for anybody who doesn't know, we actually did an episode on Commissar Yarrick, and we talked about how his power claw may in fact contain an orc soul, and how Yarrick, because of his mythical status amongst orc culture, may be sustained and empowered by the Great Green in a way that essentially makes him an honorary orc, or even possibly a melded human orc hybrid soul in some ways. There's a lot of theories about how this works, but having Yorick on this tier list, I was instantly like, yes. That was the first thing that was not an orc that I was like, yes, no problem. We'll put him in there.
Yep. I do not mind throwing Commissar Yarrick at things because I love him. I'm so glad he's back. I know it's like we should get like, new characters and everything, but there's something about Yarrick, the old man, old Baelai, that I absolutely love. Old
If I
man angry to die.
if I were king for a day and my job was to reinvigorate the orc line, I would introduce a subfaction of the Rebel Grots with the Red Gobbo. He'd have the full thing. Grot tanks would be a unit you could field. Killicans, those characters we talked about. I would do the whole thing. It would not be its own codex. It would just be part of the orc codex because you could hire them or work together and you could figure out a way to make it work. I probably include like some really interesting lore about how the Red Gobbo or the Rebel Grots sometimes fight alongside their bigger cousins. I would probably go ahead and elevate Gazgul above the clan structure and say that he is so respected and renowned that the clans all essentially say he's one of us. I would probably introduce I would probably make sure that the Snakebite special characters in there and that the Death Skulls have their runt herd guy that we were talking about, to give everybody a cool special character. And the Badmans have Nazdreg, don't they? Have Nazdreg?
Yes, they have Nazdreg.
We need to talk about Nazdreg. We need to talk about Nazdreg sometime as a whole episode because that'd be pretty sweet. That would be my king for a day look at it. Although I want to bring back the Squigoth for sure. And maybe have like one or two new units that are like ambles or beasts that are not necessarily squigs that the orcs can still use and harness in some way.
I feel that. I would make a plastic Squigoth. Like that would be my goal, is just plastic Squigoth. Here you go. Have fun. Like that would be my, if I can add anything to the orcs, it would be that. Or the what is it called? The Chinork. The Chinork helicopter. That thing was silly and I loved it.
Lichla Kiers asks, what's your favorite WOG? Octarius War.
Oh, I don't know. I like the WA that went back in time and killed itself.
That's true. There was one of those.
Yeah. That's in the 4th edition Orc Codex. They went through the warp and they emerged moments before they went into the warp, boarded themselves, killed themselves in the resulting confusion, stopped the WA in its tracks, and the orcs didn't know what to do. It was great.
That is one hell of a story. Grizzguts was that guy. Orc Warlord Grizzguts. They were en route to the Morlock system via warp travel. When the warp's weirdness threw Grizzguts and his warband back in time, they emerged slightly before their original departure. Grizzguts said, okay, cool. I'm just going to kill myself, my earlier self, so I could permanently possess a second copy of my favorite gun. He was duping like a video game bug.
Yep.
Like a glitch.
Also, that is one of the only stories that we have confirmed time travel using the warp by accident.
Is it confirmed? I mean, it's a weird orc story. I don't know if
I consider that confirmed. He killed himself, and that's the end of the story.
It certainly busted the idea of causality, or if anybody could do that, it would be the orcs. So I'm down with that. Yeah, those are some really, really good ones.
Oh yeah, I would add back the Grot tanks to 40k. Those things are way too cool.
For sure. Rothy Fairmoon says when Yorick dies, when Yorick dies, I highly believe Gorkamork are going to try and bribe the Emperor for his soul. He's a good one, Goldie. Can we keep him? I love that.
It's going to be a dispute if they get parental rights on the weekends.
So I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that the War for Armageddon is going to end with Commissar Yorick's death.
Oh, that is a bold statement.
I know, but I feel like the storyline has reached a natural endpoint, and we will get that one big final battle once and for all, and then I think that'll be the end. Like just like it might also be the end of Dante,
Okay.
because they both Dante and Yerrick are both hitting that point in their story where they need that big cathartic final stand that defines them, and then they die. You know, I think that's where we're heading.
Okay. All right. I don't think we're going that crazy. Um, but I think we might see the end of the Fortress of Arrogance. Which,
Professor
by the
Shop,
way,
happy Dante noises. He dies.
he wakes up in a dreadnought. God damn it!
I have awoken. Why?
Bjorn just sitting there patting him on the back. It's okay, buddy. It gets better. Does it? No.
That would be my prediction for Dante as he ends up in a dreadnought. But Yerrick, I think Yerrick is headed for the end of his story. I think Armageddon is going to be the last big Imperium v Orcs, or not last, but I think it's going to be where they pull out all the stops and give us the Imperium v Orcs thing that we have really wanted for a very, very long time.
Yeah. I could agree with that. If you had to say one Primarch is going to be there, who do you think it's going to be?
The Lion.
You think the Lion. Okay. So I have a theory that Dawn of War 4 actually is going to, the ending is going to be Lion heading to
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yeah, maybe. That would be, he can get there because he's got the forest.
Oh, that's actually kind of like, he wouldn't be deserving of Demon Princehood, but I could see it.
More likely Angron, I would say.
Yeah, probably Angron. He needs to get his ass kicked again to make Gosbo look cool.
Here's the thing, though. Angron has been getting his ass kicked a lot, right?
Yeah.
But one way to make him a legitimate, serious threat is to have him kill Dante.
Yarrick.
Or Yerrick.
No, have him kill Yarrick so that skull is still canon.
And then that sets up, you can keep the rivalry going, but now you have it between Ghazghkull, and that's actually, I think, a better story moment is to have Ghazghkull's kill be stolen.
Yeah.
Ghazghkull's like, maybe they get into a fight, maybe Yerrick's about to finish off Ghazghkull, or the other way around, and that's when Angron rolls in with a steel chair and just takes out Yerrick and kills him on the spot.
I'm just imagining like Ghazghkull is like aboard his ship when it happens, and it hits him, and he's just like, and just teleports down, not by technology, but because he's needed there.
Gork and Mork decided he must be there.
Yeah, and he just goes fucking like full Hulk mode. I know this is stupid, but I do want Ghazghkull to be like a bigger character, like an actual physical bigger character. Like I want him to do the classic, like, you've seen the greatest anime of all time. I don't even need to name it. You've seen it. Do you remember that scene in it when the two characters looked at each other and just started like doing this to each other? You know the exact scene I'm talking about.
I think so.
Let's just say it runs in his family for generations.
I mean, this sounds it sounds like Spaceballs to me. So I don't know.
No, it's the greatest anime of all time is Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, okay. And there's two versions of that. So
yeah, Brotherhood we're talking about.
Okay.
But
I'm so confused.
I just want to see Ghazghkull like grab his shirt, tear it off. He just tears off his power armor and he's just jacked.
Oh, Armstrong. I get it now. Okay.
Alex Louis Armstrong.
That's right.
Strong arm alchemist.
That's right. Now I get it. Yeah. Rothia Fairmoon asks the question, who would be the next Blood Angels chapter master after Dante? Gabriel Seth, maybe?
Do you want a Haymaker?
Yeah.
Mephiston. He would be a Blood Angel
librarian chapter
master.
The problem with Mephiston is he's too scary. I don't know if he'd have the leadership ability. Seth's story is kind of setting him up as a protege of Dante. So I might say Gabriel Seth. But it might also be, it could be Corbulo. It could be, Lamarty's would be really interesting, actually.
Lamarty's would be cool.
Yeah.
Throw another haymaker. It's Tycho. He comes back.
Hey, look at me. I'm back, everybody. No, come on. It can't be Tycho. I don't
Aren't
know.
you dead?
Chapter Master Kabanda. Very funny.
Kabanda would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. So, if the Rebel Grots were on Armageddon, what would they be doing?
Dying.
Or running around freeing Grots from all the other clans, maybe?
I could see them like trying to do like sabotage efforts against the orcs, and the orcs being too busy to punish them.
Definitely you're going to be busy on Armageddon. There's no question about that whatsoever. They're going to be super busy. Do we have any models to look at this week?
We not too many.
Are we saving that for Saturday?
We're going to save that for Saturday.
Fair enough.
We only got a few, including a gigantic Soul Auxiliary army that I posted.
So here's my here's a question for you, speculative. If Ghazghkull is anointed by Gork Mork, and he is the prophet, and he did receive some sort of vision when he left Armageddon, we know he got teleporter technology somewhere. Mm-hmm. What was the vision? B, what does his being the prophet Gork Mork mean with regards to Armageddon?
See, the big thing is I don't know what drove him away from it.
He said he had a vision of Gork Mork and had to go off and do that.
Yeah, but what did he do? That's the big thing.
That's why I'm asking you what the vision was.
So it had to be something. He might have needed to get some technology, or watch we get like a separate story of him actually fighting like some of the Chaos Legions and destroying some of their stuff and then going back.
Maybe, or it could be some sort of artifact or idol. It could be some kind of
an awakened dynasty that needs to be destroyed.
Right. It could be the Necrons, the Tomb Kings of Space. I'm thinking he went off and found something. Maybe the teleporter technology. Maybe it's, although that could have just been developed by Archimedes.
I think we know that the teleporter technology came from Nesdred.
Nasdreg?
Yeah, he's the one that gave Ghazghkull that technology. We don't know where he got it from.
Okay, so that maybe the teleporter technology is a red herring. Maybe that has nothing to do with the vision.
Yeah, I honestly think it might have more to do with like the Necrons, or maybe he had to destroy like a Tyranid hive fleet that was heading towards Armageddon.
I'm going to say, I think it's actually simpler. I think the vision might have been just, here's where you need to go to recruit the biggest WOG ever.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be, what would be really awesome is that he went out and got Octarius's guys and is bringing them back with him.
Yeah.
That would be wild. Nestor Vitumbra hated the Beast Arises, but the idea of Armageddon as the original homeworld of the orcs, Eleanor, was top tier. I think that's what that emoji means.
Yeah, it's like peak, or
goated.
I like, so there are tidbits of the Beast Arises series that I do like, but there's so much dumb stuff in it. But yeah, I can see it.
I am not that excited about Armageddon also being Eleanor. I gotta admit, that always bugs me.
I like the idea of it, but in practice, I feel like the orcs shouldn't have a homeworld.
Same.
Wouldn't their homeworld have been like Cadia then?
Well, Cadia was probably
no. Sorry, that's where the Eldar Empire was, which was probably near where the old ones were.
Very likely. I see Eleanor as just another orc empire that happened to become the biggest and strongest thing because of the warp storms that were tormenting the galaxy at the dawn of the Great Crusade.
Yep.
And I think that making Eleanor Armageddon is just kind of a very weird way to connect 40K and 30K. Is it? I'm sure there's a story you could tell where it's really great and awesome, and maybe that's in a novel, or maybe it's in one of the lore books that I haven't got around to. And if you have an explanation for it that you think is just amazing and really cool, please share it, because I would like to find out why you feel it's especially cool. And I pride myself on trying to keep an open mind and not being a Dunning-Kruger effect person. So
No,
I'm
it
willing.
can't be that, Ross.
So I'm willing to hear it out. And that's there's a guy in the chat, maybe not the chat today, but definitely has been in the chat before, Ricardo Andre. He's changed my mind on a few things. He's shifted my opinion successfully by arguing extremely passionately, and sometimes extremely with some very good insight into things. So it's possible.
Especially about Conrad Curse.
Professor Chef says, I think I liked it more than Armageddon as some world that became a target. Me too. This is where I live.
Well, like when I first read the lore of Armageddon back in like 4th, 5th edition, Armageddon is just a massive tank depot. Like it makes a shit ton of tanks. It makes the most chimeras in the entire Imperium. It is hugely important for that. I always thought that the target was that the orcs wanted that. They can make an infinite amount of looted vehicles. That sounds great to them. So, like, it being like this magic place kind of, I feel, takes away from the orcs a little bit, but also adds a bit to them. I don't know. I'm both ways on this.
I mean, that's not the only thing you're both ways on.
Oh.
Okay, so here, deep cut, but I'd love to see Volostad somehow brought into this, because Volostad was the final liberation game where you played as the Astra Militarum against the orcs. And it has one of the coolest commissars of all time, Commissar Holt, who's just rad.
He's a cool commissar.
He's so rad. Final Liberation is so cool. Volostad forever. I'm a big fan. But I would love to see that brought in somewhere. That would be really fun. Scar, Prince of the Parade, what's your guys' thoughts on a fun meeting between a 40K character and a fantasy character?
I mean, Sigmar talking to the Emperor would be kind of neat.
Gotrek and Felix meet Commissar Kane.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good one. Probably Marathi meeting Yvraine would be an interesting conversation.
Oh yeah,
they both got a semi kind of thing happening. Be'lakor meeting Be'lakor. Yeah, Nestor, you're correct.
Okay, you win that one right there, because that would be a mirror match for the ages, and they'd both be like, Spider-Man meme. Hey, what are you doing here?
Teclis meeting Eldred would be interesting.
Now that's the conversation I want to read right there. That is the conversation I would love to be there for, is to hear those two talk to each other. That would be wild.
Me and you both kind of believe that Eldred is the one good guy in 40K.
I mean,
his motives seem good.
I'm not going to commit to him being a good guy, because I think that it's accurate to say there are no good guys in 40K.
Yeah.
I will say that he comes close. Him and Kane both come close to the ideals of good guys.
Yeah. Let's see. Probably the avatar of Kane meets Kane from the old world would be an interesting one.
Like, again, the gods of the high elves and the gods of the Eldari. Just Spider-Man meme. You might as well say the Chaos Gods of 40K meet the Chaos Gods of Fantasy.
Oh my god, they'd be so disappointed in the Chaos Gods of, like, I don't know who would be more disappointed, because the Chaos Gods, for as powerful as people think they are in 40K, they don't do anything really in 40K. They occasionally unify to make one guy super powerful, but they don't like actively do anything, any of them. Nurgle is the most active and hid from the Emperor. Like, that's all we know. The Emperor stepped foot on his world, burned half his garden, and he was like, and ran away and hid. So I feel like the Chaos Gods, in 40K are significantly weaker than they are in fantasy and AOS, because those gods are more active, and those
Well,
gods also, did something. The end times, as bad as that is written, they did something.
I'd love to get Andy and Ryan to talk about this because I feel like the fantasy versions of the Chaos Gods are a little more personified, like they're more sentient and capable of making choices. Whereas the gods in 40K are more like cosmic storms. They are
Yeah.
they are remote, unknowable things that only can sort of
Yeah.
manifest their will through their demons, their greater demons and things like that.
Oh, Archeon meets Abaddon would be an interesting one. Which one of them do you think is stronger?
I mean,
I'd have to give it to Archeon. Abaddon is strong though. He wields Dracnion, and
he's
Dracnion
very strong. Yeah.
Dracnion can wound the Emperor.
I don't know. Cetra meets the Silent King. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's
They'd have nothing to talk about though.
No, Cetra would have plenty of spot to talk about. Have you played Total War Warhammer?
No.
Okay, Cetra and Total War Warhammer, he has some very interesting voice lines. And he is a proud motherfucker. Let me tell you what. He likes to talk about himself. Archeon actually won and destroyed his setting, says Micah.
Yes, he did. Abaddon has yet to do that. Though technically, if you want to go with Cadia being the end times of 40K, and now we're living in 40K AOS essentially, which is kind of what they did.
You could argue that Abaddon ended many worlds.
Yeah, he's ended a lot of shit.
Many worlds. I don't know. Archeon might have more personal power. I think if you were just going to take them in a vacuum, I think Archeon might be the stronger of the two.
Also, he flies on a giant horse monster.
Yeah, his horse is pretty rad. It's a crazy demon horse type thing.
Again, there's a whole bunch of systems in play here, like whose power system is in play. Are we using the Winds of Magic, or are we using 40K's Warp? Do both of them have access to their gods independently or together? Is Dracnion going to be remembered that it's Dracnion, which is a huge thing in 40K lore because that's one of the most inconsistent blades in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. This tier list definitely broke down the walls between the worlds. Skarsnik meeting Gazgul would be a really interesting conversation, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because Gazgul has probably never seen a goblin. Well, he's seen Gretchen, but he's never seen anything like Skarsnik, as strong, as cunning, as powerful as Skarsnik actually is.
One of the big things, though, is Gazgul is smart enough to recognize an asset.
I would agree. With that.
That's the big thing that would stop Gazgul from just being like, oh, a grot, smash. I think he would actually talk to him.
Well, that and Nibla.
Yeah.
The big ass squig would also get in the way there.
Yeah. But I can definitely see Gazgul wanting to talk first.
However, I have something even more interesting than that.
Oh?
Okay. I will see your Gazgul meets Skarsnik and raise you Makari meets Skarsnik.
Oh, that would be funny.
I know, right? That's a conversation I would love to see too. So, just so you guys know, we are doing shows every Wednesday and every Saturday for Lorebeards 40K. The Wednesday shows are our bonus shows. This is where we usually do our Let's Builds or our tier lists or our what ifs. And possibly, Alexis has another format in mind that we may be trying out as well.
Yeah, versus mode.
And then Saturdays are typically our deep dives into lore, where we will pick a character or a faction or an event or things like that, and we will just go off and talk about it for 3 hours and do a deep ass dive on it. You can also find me. I'm starting my Twitch career, so if you want to check out my Twitch channel, I will be posting that in the Lorebeards Discord for anybody who wants to come see me do my Twitch streaming.
It is your personal Twitch channel, right?
It is, yeah. The Ross Watson.
Yeah.
And let's see, what have you got going on?
Oh, I don't know. I just hit people with weapons. I recently started using my axe. And I gotta tell you, this thing scares the hell out of people because I don't use an axe like you're supposed. Like most people fight with an axe like this. I've been fighting like this, and people don't know what to do against it because what I do is I rip shields down and then I punch them with the axe.
Oof.
It is so brutal.
That honestly looks very dangerous.
Yeah, you can see this on my TikTok. I post I try to post like 2 to 3 times a week on there, just doing the Viking thing. And I've recently just been switching to axes and just trying them out. I've been using my Dane axe more, and it is so much fun. Though I do get beaten up quite a bit. Like you got to see this. You got to see this. Hang on. Can I remove the tier list real quick?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and drop that.
Okay. So look at this bruise.
Wow.
Yeah, this is from a sword hitting my elbow, and it caught me right at the side. And I'm used to my sword having a guard on it that I would be able to block that with, but the axe doesn't have a hand guard. So the weapon went right past and just smashed into my elbow, and oh my god, I almost dropped my weapon. I was like, ugh. It's funny as hell.
That sounds painful. Skara, Prince of the Parade, points out that Grom has a hype man goblin too. Makari meets Niblet, the night goblin, and the two hype men then collaborate.
Hell yeah.
That could be pretty wild. That could be pretty fun. Yeah, I would love to see Makari take on a more heraldic role with Gazgul. You know, like if you remember that movie, The Knight's Tale, with with Chaucer, coming out and being like, it's the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, just really build him up. I think that would be pretty wild to have a cool hype man role for Makari instead of just carrying around the banner. That would be
I
nice.
love that.
Don't forget, if you guys want us to review your models, you can go to the Discord and post your models in the 40K chats. There's a particular forum, I think, for posting minis.
Yeah, miniature painting.
And we will review them on Saturdays. What else am I leaving out? I think I've covered. Don't forget, we also have Lorebeards and Role Playing, which is a channel we do every Monday. We talk about role-playing games. I talk about it along with Vera, who's a great co-host. There's also Lorebeards Book Club, where Vera and Lindsay will talk about novels from the Black Library. And of course, Lorebeards Fantasy, where Andy and Ryan will lead you on a journey deep into the old world and discuss the nature of its beings, events, and creatures.
Oh man, I'm just excited. Like we got to talk about orcs today. Orcs are the best part of 40K, in my opinion.
They are a really, really neat part. And we have a ton of great topics coming up in the future. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us today on Lorebeards 40K. I think we're going to end just like a couple minutes early, but that's probably fine because we've ran over a couple other times as well. So
yeah. So remember, everybody, in the grim darkness of hang on, I forgot it. You do it.
Remember, everybody, in the grim darkness of the far future,
there's only lore.
There we go. We got it.
I stumbled on my words and forgot.
That axe hit must have just been more impactful than we thought. It may have been a critical.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Wog!
Anyway.